G'day guys, Mac here from the Outer Circle, and joined by my lovely co-host, Kat.
Back, baby. Woo!
Back from where?
I was getting an exosuit installed on my body because a lady decided to run me over with her fucking car. But almost died. Almost lost my foot and other parts of my body. But I'm all good now, kind of. Still got more operations to do this week, actually. But all in all, I'm not fucking dead yet. So take that, all you fucking haters.
It's
Get
pretty.
wrecked.
It's pretty impressive. They actually turned you into Kruger from Elysium.
Yeah, beard and everything.
Yeah, right down to the beard, the attitude, the numerous war crimes violations.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
Yeah. Of course, it's only a crime if you get caught. So it's neither
That's a
here
fair
nor
point.
there. The legalities behind it all.
You can't hang the hangman, right? Who's gonna hang the hangman? Damn.
The guillotine guy.
What? He's gonna know. He's not gonna have the skill set to hang somebody. You're like, how the hell do I chop someone's head off with this? And it's gonna be crazy. He's gonna attach it to a horse. It's gonna be all types of mess. He's screwing with a system that just can't be screwed with.
Alright, so, what have you been up to in the hobby, apart from, the not dying part?
Well, I was in hospital for 18 days, and came home to a lovely care package of clear bases, 40k miniatures, fucking books that were made before I was alive, and some other random shit that I haven't touched since I opened the box. Oh, and a nice picture of Matt Ward, and saying "Get better soon, cat." So thanks for everyone who put in for that. That was weird, but yeah. Now I can go to Ty's events or Wagga Wagga 40k events with just clear bases, and I can just I figured how to play that system, right? Because all you have to do is get like a whiteboard marker or a map marker or something, and you just write on the clear base what it is. So just put like one marine or marine with plasma gun.
One
You
by
don't even need a
marine.
miniature. Yeah, you don't even need a miniature anymore. How good is that? Because clear bases have shown us the way.
Well, it looks great on the clear table as well. Like, you really cutting out two birds with one stone, like a sheet of glass or a piece of clear acrylic, and you can laser cut all the terrain out of acrylic as well.
Yeah, that's right. We talked about
And
that.
the best part is, though, you don't even need to cut out windows or anything like that, because it's see-through anyway.
Yeah, and then you could just run an event in a clear tent on a clear table with clear terrain with clear miniatures on a clear basis. Cuts out all the painting. You never need to paint again in your life.
We need a new slogan here. Something to do with clear basing is for wankers or something. Needs to be like a bumper sticker.
That's a good one. That's a good. It sounds like fully painted is for closers, clear bases are for wankers. Wow. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Or clear
That's
clear
good.
bases are for what's another way of saying people who are full of shit with their excuses, like, oh no man, like clear bases just adds way more to the hobby. Like that fucking Slayer Sword entries, like I can clearly see like clear bases taking over Slayer Sword. Yeah, that's the
well-
clue, people. If it's not taking over Slayer Sword, probably not going to be taking over the tabletops anytime soon. It's just an excuse for lazy cunts.
Yeah, well, we'll leave it to the comments, man. We'll let people let us know. Come up with a slogan that clear bases are for whatever.
And then I might use some of our advertising money to go out and purchase some stickers and send them out to our listeners.
That'd be sweet. Anti-clear bases, go on. We're pretty elitist here, hey. It's pretty good. I like it.
Yeah, we're elitists, but it's an interesting point actually you bring up there. If I can be serious for a moment, the other day I was on that how there's that massive thread that Nick Hef started, and that one that quickly
I never
turned
saw
to
it.
shit.
I never saw that thread. I only saw it, the deleted thread, and then that turned to shit.
Well, I was reading down the thread, and I got to a point where someone was talking about inclusiveness in the hobby. And I said, inclusiveness is great, but there's also a point where you've got to say, this person is cancer and bad for the cause. And that's when you just got to cut them free, because you're going to bring down everyone else's hobby experience. And I don't know about you, but the amount of times I've seen like games clubs crash and burn because of like just a couple of toxic members.
Yeah, just in, what is it, a couple of bad apples fucks the whole bunch or something, I don't know.
Yeah.
Some crazy fucking saying like that, but I understand that. It just makes other people not want to go there, but I can't change the dynamic.
We had that sort of back and forth going, myself and of all people, Bolton, where I was like, yeah, you can include people, but there is a line, and I can't tell you exactly where that line is, because I don't know it personally. I think it's very subjective, but...
I'm going to try and get that line, Mako. I'm going to try and show
you
people.
push that. You push that line. There, it is there, that's right. And I don't think it's elitist to tell people that there is a line. Like, I did a video, elitism in 30k, and it was all about, like, people building their 30k armies. And I was like, call me elitist, but... I actually like to see fucking 30k models in my fucking 30k games. Like, how would people feel if I just started rocking out with bolt action models for 40k? Probably be a few fucking raised eyebrows, and the community is like notoriously non-confrontational these days, where everyone doesn't want to offend the fifis.
Ooh, we're talking about offending the fifis, and I got some sweet event gossip, I guess, going on in Australia at the moment. Not gossip, but Act of Heresy is a Canberra-based.
We went to the last.
We went to the last one, and apparently a lot of people were not happy with it. For whatever, I had a pretty good reason. I had fun. I don't know. I spent $3,000 on piss, but I can't remember a lot of it. And I forgot. I didn't go to my flight because I was just that drunk. But I got back home in the end, clearly, but I enjoyed it. I didn't have bad experience with people. I played with some friends that I know. I met some new people. It was all good, but apparently just not. And then it's gone downhill from there for a lot of players.
Well, I think timing, venue, there's a whole bunch of factors that have led into it. I don't know.
People trying to push 8th ed on people, and then...
It doesn't... Can we just lay something out for people?
Coming back and then being like, oh no, play 7th ed 30k, and then having a bad taste in their mouth. I'll just finish this one. But now, Wagga Wagga 40k, they're having an event, and apparently they got more... They had to cancel the Flames of War or something. They had to squash some minor events to get more table space for 30k. So anyway, a lot of people going to that Wagga Wagga event.
30k is doing something right.
Well, yeah, but that's the thing about Ty's events is he doesn't give a shit if you're using a fucking 40k army in the thing. He's not.
He doesn't even give a shit if you're using bases. So
yeah, like use whatever the fuck you want. Like, but so I don't see.
We've got to get him on sometime. We could really hang some shit on him.
True.
True. Yeah, it's what a funny fucking thing. So many things I want to say. I can't figure out which one needs to come out of my mouth at once.
This is what happens when we don't scrub down for like 3 months.
I know. Well, don't get hit by SUVs, you shit cunt. Okay, so like...
me.
That's right. Should have avoided her.
I keep going.
No, you got to dig up, stupid.
It's like if I rolled fucking 21s in a row, man. It's just the worst possible scenario. I just don't know how she fucking hit me. But anyway.
Yeah, 8th edition. Alright, so we've got like 3 different topics all at once here, like cancerous people in the community, clear bases for cancerous cunts, and
that's a probably not something we want to put on sticker.
Maybe not. We'll see.
Leave it up to the comments. Come on,
that's right.
See the comments.
Whatever gets most popular, we're politically incorrect enough to probably do that.
Cunt.
Cool. No, okay. So like With these people that are trying to push like 8th edition, I see a lot of comments like whenever a model gets released, they talk about like the upcoming Forge World rulebook for 7th ed. Basically, they're like, oh, I'm so pissed off that I'm going to 8th ed with Heresy. And I have to ask, why? 8th edition is proving to be an edition that's really good for that small scale game. From all reports, everyone who's playing it's like, oh yeah, it's fucking great up to like 1,500 points. For anyone who plays like hardcore Heresy games, they're more than double that. Like, I've played games of like 5, 6, even 7,000 points. And that's not an APOC game, that's not even double Force Org. That's like a single Force Org chart, because Heresy's expensive on points and it's big on unit counts, right? Like 20-man tactical squads, whilst cumbersome, are a thing. 15 man seems to be a really common sort of number. You'll see half a dozen tanks comfortably in a game, and we're talking tanks, not just transports here. Like squadrons of 3 Predators, or a couple of Sicarans, or multiple Spartans. Like, you know, the games are big. Is that fair to say, Kat?
Yeah. Unless you tie and you bring 3 freaking Spartans and 1,500 points. But yeah, go on.
Yeah, well, the problem with 8th edition is, I think 8th edition is fine for the people who want that smaller skirmishing game. I'm not going to shit on their edition for them. Like, if that's what they're into, that's what they're into. But when it comes to 30k, like, trust me, I've been in 30k. You and I were there at the beginning. We got that first fucking book, like, what, the minute it dropped, we both ordered it. Yours arrived first for some reason, but we were like, this is fucking great, you know? And we played it, and we tested it, and we've been with it ever since. We've been pushing it for, like, fucking 5-6 years now. And people were like, oh, no, man, it definitely should have gone to 8th edition. And it's like, why? How unfucking wieldy would it be in 8th edition? And there are rule sets out there, like, people have, like, homemade for Heresy. And it's just, like, sucked all the fucking vitality out of the game in 8th edition. Because it's, like, all the unique profiles just get bastardized. And all the unique special rules that are, like, across the board. Like, you know, all units of the Death Guard get this. They all get sucked out and replaced with, like, this unit now has, like, fucking unyielding will or something stupid. And, it's just a clusterfuck. Just live and let live. Just leave it be, guys. Leave it be. If you like 8th, go and play 8th. If you like Heresy, play Heresy. And if you've got a mate who wants to play 8th edition Heresy and you want to as well, fine. I'm sure you'll find a way. But don't try and tell the rest of us who've been doing it since the beginning that we're doing it wrong.
I've been doing it since 07 when Fly Lords of Terror brought out their own little fan decks and stuff. And I think I really like the communities that make their own rule sets and stuff, because then it's more niche that way, and there's not a big company that supports it, and you cut a lot of that fat away, and the people that are into it are doing it for the passion of it, not just because they can wreck face and feel good about themselves. But
yeah, we're not telling them they can't do it. They can do whatever they fucking like. Just don't try and tell us that's the way it should be, because we're just going to tell you you're wrong.
Yeah, and then I'll get drunk, and I'll go to an event, and I'll smash your fucking army, and then the cops will get involved, and then I'll go to prison, and I'll get out of prison, I'll come to your house and smash your army again. But anyway, it's a bad situation for everyone involved. We should probably get into some sweet
so
Games Workshop
we've
products.
missed a few weeks of miniature releases. So I've done a couple of videos on certain models and what I do and don't like. But Kat, today's the day we have to bite the bullet. So for everyone watching, this is a new segment called Kat and Macca having to look at Games Workshop shit or something. That's the name of the segment, and it's happening this one event, and we're gonna look at this whole fucking Nurgle release schedule for like the last couple of weeks.
And there's also other stuff we might touch over, but it's 7 pages of fucking toxic shit. Not just because it's Nurgle, but because it's just really bad.
Alright, so Kat, first things first, Nurgle. Have you played Nurgle as an army? Yes or no? I know the answer, but for our listeners, yes or no, have you played Nurgle as an army?
Yes, I have.
How long do you reckon you've played Nurgle for?
I made the army in 2006.
Okay, so I started my first Nurgle army back in 3rd edition with the plastic, because they were one of the few plastic kits Chaos had.
Yeah.
You could buy like a squad, I think of 8 off the top of my head, Plague Marines, and they were just a mono-pose Marine on a sprue.
Mm-hmm.
That was my first Nurgle army, and it was just that and a couple of, you remember the old Mark 1 Rhino, the really tiny one?
Yeah.
A couple of those, the Plague Marines on foot. I had a normal Chaos Commander. He had this big, he was made of metal and had like this massive like power core that was raised up above his head. I don't know if you remember that mini, but he had like a 4-fingered power core.
Yeah.
And I had the Dreadnought, and it was just a Space Marine plastic Dreadnought, but I used the Chaos upgrade sprue out of the Rhinos on it, and it had like, you know, there's like a plate that looks like the Necronomicon from Evil Dead, and there's another one that's I just glued like that shit all over it. Looked terrible. And I freely admit it, because I was like fucking 10 years old. It's okay to admit you were terrible once, guys. There's nothing wrong with it. And I poke shit at people all the time for doing terrible work. But that's okay, because I know they can improve. Because believe me, I did terrible work, and people told me I did terrible work, and rather than crack the shits and sulk about it, I went out and I got better. So, anyway. Since then, I also made a Plague Zombie army, with, like, Plague Zombies representing Plague Bearers, with, like, Demon Princes, Epidemius, Great Unclean One from Forge World, some Plague Toads. You remember that one as well, I'm assuming, Kat, because you were playing your Nurgle about the same time?
No, well, I was playing it in 06.
Yeah, it was late use for your Nurgle army.
I was playing fucking 3.5. My 3.5 army was just like 10 dudes of Alpha Legion that were 1,100 points for 10 dudes. Man, they were sweet.
You know, the army I never collected was Slaanesh. I never collected a proper Slaanesh army. Every time I go to attempt, I get like one squad in going, yeah, this is gayer than the pile. So, but okay. So, a few things I want to get straight before we go to the Nurgle section is, you and I have played Nurgle for myself the better part of probably 15 years, at least. And for you, at least 10, 11 years, right?
Yeah, something like that.
So I think it's fair to say we understand the Nurgle aesthetic.
Yeah.
So, if I'm going to come up with a hypothesis here, and that is that there are certain traits that are represented by certain gods. For example, Zench would be, I think, tentacles, eyes, feathers. So, generally, mutations of that god will represent those key things. It's not saying other ones can't creep in, because it's chaos, something else can always creep in, but those are the key mutations you'll generally see, as well as, like, fire. True or false?
Yeah, I guess. But, you know, you can... The left and right of arc of it, I guess, isn't that...
That's right, but they're the key ones you'll see on, like, horrors and that kind of thing. They're spindly and tentacles with, you know, lots of eyes and feathers and bird features.
Yeah, which comes from, that cunt who called me a naughty little
Blanche.
boy. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, it comes from his art and his other lower director art of Jet bag.
If I say something also has, like, thin tendrils and long, smooth horns and that kind of thing, which god do you think that would emphasize? Maybe some crab claws.
Oh, yeah, that'd be definitely. Oh, wait, what? No, see, that's now you're fucking. That's
yeah, so I say crab claw.
So crab
long...
claw would be the Slaanesh thing, right?
Yes, it is Slaanesh. Slaanesh models tend to have
crab claws because they're fat. They've got the
they're very graceful crab claws.
Graceful. I don't even know what the hell you call it.
They're the small claw that the crab has, not the big one. So Slaanesh would be like, they've got very thin horns, lots of goat-like features with their horns. So rather than being like these big antlers, they're these really thin, refined things, right? Whereas Khorne is sort of more like bull's horns. They're really aggressive, and the mutations around Khorne are generally more about muscle and muscular mass and bulk, right?
Yeah, and then you got they do love their brass as well. That's the brass.
Well, that's
skulls
yeah,
fucking
oh yeah, for sure.
It's not mutation. But...
So, if I was to say Death Guard traits, would you think tentacles, thin horns, muscles, beaks, extra mouths, extra eyes, that kind of thing? I would tend to say, I would think pustules. I think spilling organs, bloated parts of their bodies exposed, and knobby growths instead. Would that be a fair thing to say?
Sure, I guess, but it can be... Nurgle can be represented in other ways.
That's right. There's a left and right of arc with everything, but I think it's safe to say those are the main traits we've been shown previously throughout all of Nurgle. Now, the other important thing to note the distinction between is the difference between Death Guard Plague Marines, so Marines in general, and Nurgle Demons. Because the Nurgle Demons represent Nurgle himself. They're fun, they're bubbly, they're happy. Correct?
Yeah, he's known as, like, the most kindest god and all that shit.
Yeah. He sees himself as Father Nurgle. He's a very happy guy. Whereas Nurgle's mortal followers in 40k, the Marines, are the exact opposite of that. It's a juxtaposition. They're very bitter, spiteful, vengeful. They hate what they've become because they once prided themselves on their endurance and not succumbing to disease and pestilence. And they're now the opposite of that. They have succumbed to disease and pestilence, and they've got a lot of self-loathing. True or false?
Well, yeah. Juxtaposition means the fact of two things being seen or placed close together with contrasting effect.
Yes.
I had to look that shit up. not well memed in fucking words, man. But hey, there might have been someone else out there. So I explained it.
So it's taking something and giving it opposite circumstances. So that is very. That's where we're coming from because I think it's fair to say we're both going to be critical of the Death Guard releases. So for people who are listening...
No way, man. I don't think that's going to be my position at all. I'm going to be fucking over the moon about it. In fact, I believe I'm going to be spending at least $2,000-3,000 after this show on the workshop merchandise.
So it's safe to say that, we're going to be critical. And that we're not being critical because we're assholes. We're being critical because there's certain expectations that we have from playing this game for a long time. And that's not to say that you and I dislike change. I think we like change perfectly fine as long as it's done wisely. As long as it's not done in like a cash grabby fuck you way or just simply for the sake of taking something in a new direction. But, I might be overreaching with that conclusion. So, with that in mind, first things first, those Death Guard dice. What do you think of those dice?
I'm pretty sure we've done these dice, but yeah, they're awful, obviously. They're hard to read, for one. The colours they're very similar, so from a far distance it's going to be real hard to see. I guess it's good for cheaters. I don't know. I don't know. At least it's more in line with Nurgle theme than the rest of the fucking miniatures.
If they were somehow balanced, it'd be nice to see like someone just fill them with clear resin, so that like the pustules are beneath the surface of the resin, and then at least the dice will be like smooth and maybe some kind of balancing could occur, but I highly doubt it. I think they're crap. Alright, moving on. So there's a whole bunch of Death Guard codexes. Safe to say we don't give a shit. That cover artwork on the Mortarion on the Nurgle's Rock collection, I would dare say that is nice artwork that I like.
I say it's nice artwork. I don't say it screams Death Guard or Nurgle to me at all.
No.
Take a closer look. It looks the way the background colours are. They're obviously on I don't know. It looks like some sort of Imperial planet.
They're very Zentian background colours. Very pale like blues when they should be like dusty greens.
Yeah, it looks Dark Angel-y almost.
Well, what about the Death Guard Codex? That has to be one of the most cartoonish covers I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It has like these bright pink Majin Buu tentacles and... yeah. Okay, so 3 for 3, Kat. What about Mortarion himself?
I'm not a fan of this model, and I don't think you could fix it with a better paint job. I hate his scythe. It's just too... Why to grow bones? I don't understand that. And then it's got that stupid wispy shit on it. Then his base. I mean, for you clear bases out there, that's not going to be an issue for you. But I like the little Nurglings. They're cute. Nurglings have always been cool.
It's a lot of shit that can break off. This is not a gaming model.
Yeah.
This is a very impractical display model.
Yeah, definitely. I don't like his pose. I don't like his face.
Well, I like him. But one thing I can't stand is Games Workshop's done it again. There's a 30k Primarch sculpted with all his 30k detail and all his 30k armor. Then Games Workshop comes on, they're like, let's throw all of that out the door and just do completely our own thing.
He's got a mask on this model, which the art from, the 90s early 90s.
And the books.
Portrayed him. Yeah, portrayed him having that mask, and that's something that was criticized for the 30k Mortarion, that he didn't have the gas mask.
Yeah, but his face is obscured too much by the mask. Like, it has these big, massive filters on it. It shouldn't have those. Mortarion's mask isn't a gas mask that like filters air coming in. His gas mask is hooked up to bottles of fumes from Barbaros on his own back, and he's actually breathing the atmosphere from his home world.
Yeah, because Barbaros was like 15% cocaine, so he needs to like have cocaine. That's a Rick and Morty thing. Sorry.
Yeah.
But maybe he's vaping. Maybe he's just become a vapor.
And it's got this weird toxic slime going between the two filters. Like, remove those filters, give us a little bit more of his face, and like the face is meant to be like he was describing the books as pretty much having like wasted away to nothing as when he becomes a demon prince, and he's literally just like a bony, rotted skeleton.
Yeah, like death.
Yeah. Whereas here he looks more like Jigsaw from Punisher Warzone, and he's got mass to him.
Also, you could use his head for Fury Road.
Morton Joe.
You could totally use that. Holy crap. That'd work really well for that miniature. If you want to do a conversion for that.
Mediocre.
Yeah, that guy. Wow. There you go.
Yeah. He's a cool chap, Morton Joe. Good dude. Okay. So they took all Mortarion's 30k armor and got rid of it completely. I don't think they've kept any of it. His pistol kind of looks the same as his 30k one. But like his pistol remained relatively normal, but then for some reason his scythe is completely mutated out of this world. And I've got nothing,
and stuff.
Nothing against him having the weapon and the weapon mutates, right? That's a chaosy thing. But the way in which it's mutated doesn't feel right to me. It doesn't break the model for me. What breaks the model for me is the colour job. And that's a theme across the Death Guard range, that 3/4 of the problems could be summed up as the painting. Because this is the new and kid-friendly Death Guard.
No fucking way. If you're driving a black SUV and you fucking hit me with that fucking thing and put me in hospital and almost kill me, I don't care if it was fucking orange or fucking purple or had a Nurgle fucking something. You still hit me with a fucking SUV, you stupid cunt. Alright, but sorry, a little bit too much endo. But yeah, I don't think the paint job is really that bad. I kind of like it. The guy that's painting it, I believe, is a French dude and had a Nurgle army like this back in the day. It was painted like this and it was really good. So I think the greens work really well with the armor. It's just that he doesn't have...
He shouldn't have purples.
He's got so much... I love purple.
Deep purple and
crimson.
Green.
Purple with green.
Purple with green looks great. It's not Nurgle though.
Sure it is.
No, Nurgle is dirty colours. Purple is not a dirty colour, it's a regal colour. That's why it's an Emperor's Children colour. Mortarion should be wearing like a dirty white fucking... like a diaper.
Actually, it's funny you should mention that. I went to a doubles tournament with a friend. It was 1,500 points each side, each person, and he had a friend. And you know my defilers that are on the big bases that are like
yeah
kind of thing. Yeah, he had the same thing, but a Slanesh version. So he was like clean, and then so we like had the same kind of army. Mine was Nurgle, his was Slanesh though. And yeah, we ended up calling our team like fucking some STD, I can't remember. It was a fucking funny name though. Holy crap, it was so good. And when we did really well, it was a really good army, and it was a good theme with you know, Nurgle and then Slanesh. It was really good. So I don't know, I like it. It's maybe that's why I like it, because it reminds me of the good old days of that event. That was a really fun event. It was in Townsville as well, out of all the fucking places. Jeez.
One thing that really distracts for me is you can actually pose him multiple ways. You can have the scythe in the left hand, pistol in the right.
Oh, can you?
Yes.
Oh, okay. That's really odd for Games Workshop.
Yeah, they almost give a shit, right? Hey, so people who say we're only negative, we are praising them right now for their forward thinking of allowing you to do what most miniatures company or previous Games Workshop in the past would allow. The smoke effects. at least most of it is up to you whether you put it on or not. Apart
Okay,
from the
that's
bit
cool
on
too.
his cloak. That said, still looks gayer than 10 men fucking.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of his cloak. It should be. I don't know why it's flying around like that either. I mean, he does. Spoilers here. But he does in the story, in 30k, he does like fly onto a Space Marine vehicle and like punch the dude in the face through the glass. But I don't know, his wings just look. Yeah, he does look like a butterfly.
I told you, he looks like a
the
moth
butterfly.
coming out of the cocoon. I don't know whether they meant to represent a... Because I spoke about this ages ago and people were like, nah man, you haven't seen the new Mortari, you have no idea. I'm like, I'm telling you, he's got fucking butterfly wings. And people are like, nah man. Oh, now who's laughing? Probably not those people, because they probably don't listen to us, but it's me. I'm laughing. So, yeah, I think Mortarion is probably the one I like the most out of the 3 Primarchs GW has done so far.
There's a lot of cloak going on here. What would you paint it? I'd probably just paint it like a bony white.
Yeah, I would paint it bony white for sure, with just like dirt patches on it.
His
Like
wings I'd probably paint really fleshy and bloody.
brown leathery sort of wings I'd paint.
Yeah, I'd go bloody. I'd go real bloody.
Although one thing I
Kind of
noticed,
that kind of shit. Maybe put some blood drips in there with some resin and shit.
one thing I noticed, which I feel inclined to point out, if you zoom in on him at all in the 3D view, have a look at his chainmail. None of it's rusty. None of the chains holding the ball and chain sensors
I
are
think
rusty.
there is some rust left side near his kneecap. If you just go up there, it's in between like little purple. There's like little incense thingy just up there. There's a tiny bit of rust, but it could have just been pooling where someone left some ink or something. I don't know. It could be some. He's trying to look. He does. He looks really clean.
He's
But at
too
least
clean.
he's got on his kneecap. He's got some little dents and shit.
He's
but,
got a little bit of
yeah,
pox.
a bit of pock.
There, literally, I've seen 30k armies that are dirtier.
Yeah, I mean, you can hit him up with a rust effect.
Oh,
easy
I just
enough.
noticed his wings have like little plague sensors embedded in them. Oh, that's fucking lame. Little golden ball embedded in the wing. What was he flying through the air into a Harry Potter game and a fucking seeker just careened into his fucking wing and lodged there?
That's a really in-depth thing if you don't know Harry Potter.
I'm not a Harry Potter fan, I know that. My missus is a huge Harry Potter fan though, so...
No, it's
Alright.
knows. Oh yeah, I thought it was like one little dot. No, they are like plague sensor thingies, and there's like
Yeah.
a little hose in there as well. It looks like a tyrannid hose.
I think those are
It
more
looks almost
moth
like
tendrils, like little feelers or something. All right, let's move on from Mortarion. I'm going to leave him in an open window for later. So yeah, that's Mortarion. There's a bundle with like the Primarch and box of crap, sack of shit. It costs 300 Australian, so it's like what, $25 American. Fuck that. Nurgle gift collection. Fuck that. Mortarion and 6 Death Shroud.
426 Australian dollars.
I can
It's
buy
stupidly out of
5 resin Death Shroud from Forge World, which are fully customizable. I can build them. They've all got independent legs, independent chests, independent helmets, and independent arms. So I can build those Death Shroud in any number of different combinations, okay? In fact, if I figure that out, it should be 5 by 5 by 5 by 5 number of combinations possible. Sorry while I'm doing the maths on that.
Well, you can also get the
That's 1,375 combinations possible.
well,
Between
Forge World also had the Death Guard and World Eater upgrade kits for their troops and Terminators that you used to be able to get. I don't know if they're still online or not.
Yeah, there
I
are.
mean, they are.
Yep.
Alright.
But
I've still got-
they don't match up with the new scale at all.
What about? Oh, so they don't match up with Death Shroud.
No, these new Death Shroud, I will give
No,
it to
no,
Games
not
Workshop.
the GW ones. I'm talking
Yeah, I
about
know the Forge World
30K.
ones.
Yeah, they wouldn't match up, you reckon?
Oh, Actually, they might. Although the Cataphracti and Tartarus are a little bit bigger.
Oh, okay.
I'd be keen to see. I think you could do some great conversions there with the 30k Cataphracti and the 40k upgrades.
Oh, yeah, true.
Anyway, yeah, this size of Nurgle comp. So, yeah, it's like $90 or $88 or something Australian for 5 resin Death Shroud, fully customizable. Or I can get this, like a squad of 3 of these is like 115 Australian. Why would I get 2 less models and I can't really customize them in any way, and I've just sort of got to play them as snap fits? Why would I take that? I'd be stupid.
Because you walked into a Games Workshop store, you're impulsive, you don't want to work with resin, you want to support Games Workshop and increase your stock. I don't know, there's plenty of reasons. You're drunk, you're unemployed, I don't know.
If you're unemployed, how can you afford Games Workshop? You gotta sell your body for fucking plastic crack?
Yeah, I don't know how people do it. They do it.
Yeah, I don't know. That bundle is just a huge rip-off. But I'm glad to see all this stuff is sold out. So thank you to the Australian people that went out and managed to sell out Death Guard dice, Death Guard codexes, Mortarian bundles. To those people, thank you for betraying the cause and telling Games Workshop that their terrible business practices are okay. Moving on up, Foul Blightspawn. So this is one of those new Nurgle. I'll open all 3 of these new Nurgle characters. So, Foul Blightspawn. What do we think of this dude?
This is the first time I've seen this motherfucker. I haven't been on GW site for ages. The Nurgling looks a bit I guess maybe it's a bit of portraying of that's Games Workshop and the Nurgling are the fans. The Nurgling is the fanboys. They will do exactly what Games Workshop tells them.
This guy's whole left arm is lifted from a model in the starter set. So I can tell you how they've sculpted these Nurgle Marines just by that one feature. Because back in the day, you'd see there'd be 3 characters released for an army, and you could tell it was just the same character, but they'd just changed his weapon out in white metal.
Yeah.
And they'd just give him a mustache or a different hat. Well, this is the same thing. What they're doing is, I can't be certain of it, but let's call this a 99% guarantee. They're manufacturing the arms, the legs, that kind of thing in CAD, and then they're just combining them together in different combinations, rather than sculpting each model uniquely. It does make sense. But yeah, it's just very noticeable.
Yeah, for sure. It's I don't know what that thing is in his hand.
Oh, he's got a slurm machine on the back.
That's kind of cool. You could do some cool slam things with that.
This would be a good model to convert for 28mm Inquisitor. De-Nurglify him, and you could do some fun stuff with this. See how he's got that massive fucking tank on his back with the window painted on the side of it?
Yeah, yeah.
When they release the new Lucius, they're going to do something lame like that for his combat drugs. He's just because everything gets dialed up to 11 now when they re-release a character. So when they re-release Lucius, I reckon, this is my predictions from the other day, he's going to have a ridiculously long tongue now. Because, he's got a long, lizard tongue at the moment. He's going to have, a fucking ridiculously long tongue. He's going to have a whip, and that's going to be, ridiculously long as well. Because they're just overemphasizing shit. And the combat drugs on his back, the vials are going to be huge.
Yeah, I reckon they're just not going to do it, because drugs and Slanesh and family friendliness is just not going to work well with their things.
I'm sure they'll find a didn't stop them with Nurgle.
That's just slam, man. Slam.
But yeah, and there's the happy little Nurgling on his base. Now again,
which is the representation of Games Workshop's fans.
Yeah,
fanboy.
Yeah. They'll happily wield grenades for Games Workshop. Is that what you're saying?
Is it a grenade or is it a cup?
That's a grenade.
Oh, I thought it was a cup for the guy to put slam in and then he could drink the slam. But yeah, why wouldn't he just drink from the hose, right? Maybe he's got a little bit more class than that, Macca.
There is a hint as well with his face of those old medieval apothecary masks. The bird beak masks.
Yeah, they used to put like herbs and shit in there, and they thought it would stop them getting the plague.
They were wrong.
Turns out it was fleas.
So yeah, it's a hint of that, I think, to it, which is cool.
Yeah, I can see
This
that.
model's fine. This is one of the more nurgly models, except for the fact he's got like all that robotics coming out of his right side of his torso. It's a bit strange.
Yeah, I don't know why he's got a pokey claw coming out of that. Oh, it's not a pokey claw. It goes up there and it churns the slurm or something.
Yeah, but he's got a set of gears coming out of his stomach.
Yeah, that makes no sense.
It makes not a lot of sense at all.
Maybe he's
so-
Nine Warrior.
Maybe. I just noticed he's actually got no power pack. So how is his armor powered? The magic, friendship and magic or something?
It's very steampunk at the side there, so that's what his guts. His guts are churning.
They're powering that piston
thing.
pump.
Yeah, that piston pump is just powering his arm, which is powered by him from his stomach.
But why? It looks like the goo is just gravity fed out the hose. They've clearly put no practical thought into this model. Alright, so next up, Nauseous Rotbone. This model is so fucking boring. I don't know how you can... This is like...
Each of these things costs $40. Fuck off.
This is an oxymoron. Two conflicting statements that should make, like, no sense. You have a model that's absolutely covered in extraneous shit and detail, but is somehow boring. There's two statements that shouldn't make sense together, but it perfectly sums this model up for me.
Yeah, well, the Apothecaries don't really have much going for him. I can tell he's an Apothecary because he's got the fucking needles and shit at the front. He's got the little drill hand, and he's got some...
On his back, there's a head hanging from his backpack. See that head?
Yeah.
That's what his head should look like. Minus the stitched out eyes, although that would be a cool feature that he's blind. That's part of the problem. Like old Nurgle would go for that full blued flesh zombie-fied skin, not this pretty much healthy flesh.
Well, his lips are fucking receded. It looks like they've ripped off. His eyes on his left side is like pretty bulgy.
He's got a Terminator eye.
A sunken face, so his cheekbone.
I know if his lips are ripped off
I
or
really
if
don't
just...
mind that. I don't like the maggots just coming out there. I mean, they should have made that. They should come out with a maggot sprue if you want to put maggots on.
Yeah. Well, this one is very mediocre for me, but I don't hate it. I just think it's boring.
Yeah, maybe that's why I like it, because it's not...
Also, the sword. Why has it got like this fleshy bit going through it? Like,
I don't know why they've gone with that aesthetic. They've done it with the dice, they've done it with the stupid little...
A Nurgle weapon, like,
really weird.
correct me if I'm wrong, but a Nurgle weapon should look like almost like an undead weapon. Like it's just being laying in the fucking ground, rotting and rusting away, and then some cunt's just found it and gone, oh yeah, I'll just use this. That's
it's
a
a good
Nurgle
way
weapon.
to portray Nurgle rot, I guess, but I don't like the idea of the weapon being fleshy and alive. It creates weakness for me. It seems weak rather than...
Or it should be envenomed rather than
yeah,
fleshy.
they should have done that well with the whole apothecary thing. Have a couple of tubes coming down into his sword and like inject shit into people or something. I don't know. They could have done a lot more.
Could be a little plague bearer sitting on his hand, squirting plague juice onto it out of his little willy. You got lots of options there. Alright. Scribus Wretch the Tallyman. This is fucking... Oh, what's that thing they call... in like social justice warriors called cultural appropriation? And this is Zench appropriation. This is the blue scribes. They've taken the blue scribes and crossed them with Epidemius. So Epidemius would tally shit up, and the blue scribes, like, you know, there's a couple of demons, and they just had all those scribes on top of their disc of Zench.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they've just taken those same concepts and just given them to this cunt.
They had a tally boy, though. The Nurgle did have a tally boy. That guy on like...
That's what I said, Epidemius. But his
right.
was the abacus.
But you had... Zench had the
scribes.
Had the scribes, and they had some other cunts.
So you take Epidemius's abacus, which forms like the back of his chair, and that forms
He's got
half
an
of this
abacus
model. And then the other half of this model is made out of Zench stuff.
That looks like a fucking Zench symbol on his back.
It kind of does, hey?
That's fucking creepy. Oh my goodness.
Bit of an Oribus hint to it. Maybe he's a sleeper agent.
Yeah, probably. Well, that's a dead fucking giveaway. Holy crap. That is like a Zinch symbol on his back.
Looks like he's got horned rat symbols on his leg as well.
There's some Space Wolf appropriation there. Some runes. I don't know, his little nerdling helper's pretty funny with the scrolls.
But yeah, so this is just like... I don't hate the model. I think it's an okay looking model. It's just they've appropriated two different models and combined them together into this one model just for the sake of doing something new. I guess that's fine.
$40.
Yeah, is it worth $40 fine? I don't think so. Man, $40. You know when I got into Warhammer?
That's how
I
much
could buy
squad would
a tactical
cost, man.
squad of 10 Marines for like 35. Oh, that's crazy. Yeah, okay, moving on. Primaris Marine stuff. Moving on. I don't want to look at Primaris Marines. I think they look fine.
Oh, Typhus.
Alright, here's a good one. Here's one all people have all been waiting for. Aren't they glad we're back and we're salty? Did you see my video on this guy the other day?
I did.
The,
I didn't know there were flies on the cape.
Do they look like they're straight out of Metroid or what?
Oh my god, this is this mess.
They're Nintendo
shit.
bugs.
Oh my god,
They're,
that's so bad.
They're
I didn't know there was
platformer.
flies
They're
on-
platformer villains, aren't they?
Yeah, you sent that picture to me of the guy getting Gatorade poured all over an NFL player, coach getting Gatorade poured over him, and I made that little meme. Who did it better? Who would win? Some 10,000-year-old death guard guy with thousands of worlds under his control, or some Gatorade boy?
I like the scythe.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I need to get a scythe for my garden actually.
Everything else is terrible though. And I mean terrible. I mean, I spoke about it in the episode I did, but...
Yeah, definitely go check that out if you haven't. If you want to get more of a rundown for this, you say a hell of a lot more. Or go to our Facebook page and just look at my meme. That also explains it pretty well.
Lots of memes on our Facebook. Yeah, this model is basically everything wrong with New Games Workshop. Like, I didn't think there was a model that would top Gilliman for things I hate. But, fuck, Games Workshop just... Hats off to them, They succeeded. They went out and they just quietly achieved. This model is terrible. There is nothing that screams Nurgle about this. It's just a clusterfuck of ideas thrown onto a roughly Typhus styled model. Right down.
No, we've made an episode on it. I mean, we don't have to say anything more about it here. It's just a good representation of Games Workshop staff and how they compose themselves in their stores. But yeah.
How many? I want to know. I'd love to be able to set up a poll. I can't do it in YouTube, but I'd love to know how many people are there and they're like, well, geez, I wasn't going to buy Typhus for my Death Guard army, but gee, when I saw they put flies on him and smoke, I was sold. I just had to have that. I highly doubt the people did.
It's his corruption, man. He's like the corruptor or whatever, right?
There's so many good conversions of Typhus out there. There's been 2 Games Workshop approved Typhuses that are both better than this. The old one from fucking 40k and the 30k one are both better than this piece of shit. If you're going to convert Typhus, I would just say, like, get a scythe and put it on that fucking Terminator dude out of the Lord of Contagion, whatever his name is, out of the starter set. The dude with like that big fucking axe. Yeah, he'd make a way better Typhus than this.
A lot of people thought he was Typhus.
Well, it wouldn't surprise me if they completely reworked the character, but... Alright, so Typhus is shit as well. Defeated Bloat Drone. Now, this is a good one... This isn't
the one from the box?
No, this is the multi-part kit, which is pretty much a monopose model where you can swap out the arms and one of the shell parts.
Oh, it's got like a harvesty thing.
It's got 3 different versions. So there's this one here with like the 3-barrel gun. There's the one which has like a hay baler. and then there's one that has like 2 of those funky looking pus spewer guns or whatever.
Oh yeah. Yep.
So here's where we can go back to the start of the episode, where I said Nurgle to me, like this first one, the one on the far left, has thin horns coming out all over it. Those are Slaneshi traits. It has tentacles and like a big mouth around its head. Those are Zentian traits. Neither of those things are Nurgle traits. Now, some asshole will probably be in the comments viewing this video going, well, chaos is about corruption and anything can be corrupted, so to me this is just extra chaos. To that one guy, you're a fucking wanker. No. Chaos Undecided is just weird shit like Beastman. That's what Chaos Undecided is. Right? When it comes to the gods generally go in one specific direction. Like, generally, yeah, there is a left and right of arc of that, but this is taking strong visual aspects of other gods and slapping it onto this. Where it does work is on the 5th picture across, which is the one that actually has the 3 little Nurgle symbols on its shell and the smoke coming out the smokestacks. That is a Nurgle looking model. It looks like it has a fly's head. It's got like the 2 bronze eyes, and then it's got the one in the middle, so it's that 3 Death's Heads or 3 eyes of Nurgle. It's got the smokestacks like a destroyer hive. That is Nurgle. And the one in the middle, which has like a massive Nurgle symbol on its back and like a big vision slit for some reason, like a letterbox.
It's PUBG, man. He's got a level 3 helmet in that one.
Well, that one actually looks like a Telos. Look at the way the arms hang down. It looks like a Telos. It's a Dark Eldar Telos.
Yeah, I reckon you could work that really well with the Slanesh army.
I gotta go find a fucking Telos and compare it. Hang on a tick.
I do like, yeah, that's really cool. Little hay baler thing. I reckon you could Slanesh that up really well.
Probably could.
Really well.
Yeah,
I think the first one has a level 1 helmet from PUBG.
Drukhari. I'm not calling them Drukari. Alright, Telos. Yeah, the Telos. It's totally ripping off the Telos's look. Go have a look at the Telos and the way its arms hang down from its body. This thing's ripping that off hard.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. It's got little arms.
The body is a whole bunch of overlapping shells up in the air. Yep. Fucking tick.
Yeah, I don't know why they need to give him fleshy arms.
Because they think people are into that.
But the other 2 don't have fleshy arms to carry their
See
gun.
how all the hoses around its body aren't hoses anymore? They're that stupid fleshy hose with bits of conduit sticking out of it.
Oh, like Nids.
Yeah, no, not like weird Nids, but it's like Games Workshop's new fucking pet design aesthetic for Chaos. Must have fleshy hoses, because I guess they felt that just gold trim wasn't defining enough. So now that's their second addition to Chaos, is fleshy hoses.
Yeah, at least there's not so much gold trim on these things.
Yeah, well, it is improved. So yeah, only one of these gets Nurgle right, and that's the 3rd hull, the one with the smoke effects. And I can't believe I'm saying that. Cut the smoke effects off, and that's perfect. That's Nurgle.
Yeah, I think the hay baler would work really well for either Inquisitor or for conversion purposes, but I don't like any of these things. They're just so close to the ground and stuff. It's just weird.
The hay baler looks like the Slanesh chariot.
Yeah, definitely.
I'll just find the Slanesh chariot now.
Yeah, I don't like it. It's just so close to the ground. I like the other bloke drones. They were cool from Forge World. But these ones just seem... I don't know, man. Like...
Oh, the Slanesh chariot's a lot sharper.
I don't know the fluff behind it. So... Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, I preferred the Blight drone from Forge World. I love how they changed it to Bloat drone. Alright, so moving on. The Blightwood Terminators. This is like a perfect example of everything wrong with Nurgle. So, with Nurgle Plague Marines, the thing with their armor has always been not that it's cobbled together so much as it's the armor they were in 30k, and it's bonded to their bodies. And the big fat stomachs they had was because their stomachs have slowly stretched the armor until the point of breaking, because their stomachs, like on a dead corpse, fill up with like gases as they're decaying away, and then they explode out the abdomen. They don't like make their armor out of like bits of different kits and glue it all together. And like there's one dude at the back who has like 60 bits of armor plate making up his stomach protection. Nurgle doesn't do that. Nurgle would just let their stomach hang out because they're like, yeah, hit my stomach, I don't care.
Fluff-wise, they might not be Death Guard. It just says Blight Lord Terminators. I don't know the fluff of it anymore, but there are other, 40k.
Well, I think these are what the Grave Wardens have become.
And also they do have recruitment of other jerks. He could have copped a las cannon shot in his stomach, and they just like, well, just bolt a bunch of metal plates to your gut.
But no, like, you remember the old stories from the other codexes. Like a Death Guard Marine with his big fat stomach hanging out, like a Loyalist Marine would come up and like chop him with a chainsword, and the Death Guard would just start laughing at him. Like, they don't care that their stomach's hanging out because you can't hurt them. They're immune to that kind of pain. Why would he armor up his stomach?
To get his safe.
You see where I'm going with this, right?
Not really. I just don't see how. I don't like it, but
the Death Guard weren't into cobbling together armor because it was never a worry for them.
Course,
they don't need to be armored.
Been so long.
They just happen to be in armor that they.
I don't know why there's feathers coming out.
It's because he's a fly. They're fly hairs.
Oh.
He's a fly boy.
Get it, man. That's stupid.
And there's like a big slimy Slaneshi tongue coming out of his knee pad.
What's with the dude to the left of him? Who the fuck makes a helmet with no vision slits at all?
Oh, that's Mr. Happy. He's so happy.
Yeah, but he doesn't have... He can't see what the fuck he's doing.
Yeah, that's a thing.
I like the chainmail.
I'm not saying I hate these models. I just think they're the symbol of what's gone wrong with the Death Guard.
Yeah. His little apron is kind of okay, I guess.
That kind of works for me.
I don't like the front guy with the keyhole face. That's just fucking weird. Is he like... weird.
I like the backpack on him, where he's got like 3 heads plumbed together for some reason. It's a bit more Slaneshi and like Mad Doctorish though. That's like a Fabius Bile trick, but I find it strange how he's got pretty much flawless Cataphracti armor.
$98, huh? For 5. No
yeah.
thanks.
Yeah, go fuck yourself. Also the horns. If you're gonna do horns on Nurgle, it has to either be like Plague Destroyer Hive off Typhus, where they're like tall, thin tubes with noxious fumes coming out, or they have to be like deer antlers. Any other kind of horn, you're doing it wrong. Also, what's with this dude with the fucking smoking fucking...
Yeah, I don't get that. It's kind of like Grip. Remember when the Dark Angels came out with their Deathwing Terminator plastic specific thing, and they had those
massive halberd?
Yeah, big chain thing.
You know, at least with the Dark Angels, like they limited the smoke to like the chaplain's backpack. That was like the only time I was okay with the Scrubdown smoke. I was like, oh, that's kind of neat. It's just they've taken it overboard. It's lost the novelty. Damn, that smoke looks bad.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
It's because, you know what? I don't know whether it's because it was digitally sculpted. Might be the problem. It's just that uncanny valley.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know, and his face looks fucking weird.
Yeah. I don't know, there's a lot of cool parts in here, and I'm sure there's a great kit in there, but I've not seen it with what they're previewing. Alright, Death Shroud. Death Shroud. Come in threes. Because Nurgle's sacred number is 3 and the Imperial Fists are the 7th Legion. So, what do you think?
Yeah, I don't like the guy with the stomach mouth.
The Zench stomach?
Stupid, yeah. Zench stomach is silly. Their little hoses, the destroyer hive thing is dumb. The bone growing around the pipes is dumb. The smoke's dumb.
There's an alternate way to build that stomach guy. Bottom left picture. Where his stomach has like 3 pustules instead.
Okay, yeah.
Much better. Much better. That's Nurgle. It's just a single stomach plate with like pustules coming through it. That's perfect. In fact, that whole model is pretty good. I quite like it.
Little tubes at the top, like kind of.
Yeah, get rid of the smoke coming out of them with the flies, maybe.
Yeah, but the bone growing around the steel as well is kind of shit.
Yeah, it should just be the steel turned to bone. Or it's just rusty pipes coming out of there with like holes in the side of them and then like there's smoke coming out the holes as well. That would be cool.
Made more sense.
A little too cool for G-Dub. Yeah, no, I like the squad. I think the price is fucked. Like I said, I can get 5 models for less than this, and I can build those models any way I like. These guys go together one way each, and they have like an alternate stomach and head option. Ooh, whoop-de-fucking-do.
Laytown Guard Warden.
Why does one of the dudes have fucking Zench tentacles coming out of his stomach and holding onto the scythe for him?
He needs 3 points of contact.
See, you're appropriating Zench culture. Alright, moving the fuck on with Billy Big Steps. Blake vs. Crawler.
Warband. Okay, no, you're not gonna go.
No, I'm not gonna. I'm just looking at the 40k stuff.
Okay, what, this stupid tank thing?
Yeah. This is where there's like an existing design out there, and Games Workshop's like, fuck that! Can't copyright. Need maximum copyright. Need like 10% more copyright on this model. So you wanna know what I find funny about this model? I actually don't hate it as much anymore. I thought this was going to be like the worst model of the year. I apologise, it's not. That's Typhus. This is not terrible. Nowhere near as terrible as I thought. But do you notice the tracks? See how the tracks are like spiked, Cat?
Yeah.
Have you seen spiked tracks before at all? Possibly made by another company?
Yeah. They should hit them up about copyright.
Yeah. If Games Workshop's going to sue every other cunt, I reckon fucking Blood and Skulls Industries, who's made spiky tracks for years, should turn around and sue Games Workshop, because Games Workshop is clearly appropriating their intellectual property.
Should we make a false email and just send it to them and see what they say?
You know, last time I emailed Games Workshop, I asked them about Australian pricing. Got 0 fucking reply.
Yeah, but I'll be sending it to their law fucking cunts. I'll be like, a cease and desist of making this model for spiky tracks.
Games Workshop would scramble the lawyers in like Apache gunships. So, yeah, no, I just think that's fucking funny. They're the most litigious cunts on earth who want to sue everyone for copyright IP, and then the minute they fucking copy someone else's idea, all goes quiet on the Western Front. Oh, as for the model,
the whole fucking game is based off of fucking other cunts' ideas.
Yeah, as for the model itself, how do you load that gun, Cat?
It looks like a mortar, so you have to do it from the top.
Well, where's the crew? How are they getting in there?
It's
also,
a magic crew.
I want to know how it recoils gears into gears. I bet that's fucking good for the the cross-loading on that fucking
It just falls apart.
on that shaft at the back. That would just shatter on the first time you fight. Oh, great. It's just... Alright, so like most 40k, you can't apply any real-world engineering to this thing. And some fanboy will go, well, clearly, because it's Nurgle, it's a demonically powered vehicle, and therefore it shoots demonic jizz out the cannon, so it doesn't actually need a crewmaker, and you'll find that according to the new Death Guard Codex, page 4, subsection paragraph 12, it clearly states that to that guy, fuck you.
Yeah, fuck you, Tim. Fuck you and your GW fucking fanboys.
But yeah, no, it's just a stupid vehicle. They should have just taken the existing vehicle. I'd have loved to have seen them like have a Nurgle-fied Chimera or something, like a Basilisk Hull.
Yeah, or a upgrade kit or something.
Yeah, because like look at what 30k did with the Legion Medusa and the Legion Basilisk. How it basically just took an existing tank and then gave it like marine style panels around the sides and the front of it, and it looks fantastic. That's what they need to do.
Fantastic. Yeah, it's a piece of crap, and it's $110. So this comes in a close second, right, after Mortarion.
This is like Land Raider cost. It's not as big as a Land Raider though, is it? I can't tell how big this is. It doesn't look. It looks like it's only about the size of a Rhino, maybe a bit wider, like wider and taller, but not longer.
It's a piece of shit either way.
Yeah, no. Should have just corruptioned up an existing tank. All right, so that's another thing I hate. Also, have we ever spoken about the Nurgle zombie dudes that we got that look like plague bearers?
Yes.
Why did they go away from zombies?
I don't know. Probably because they can't. I guess because of
Copyright.
Yeah. Well, copyright and the whole. Yeah, because Kingdoms of War came out with the zombie things, and people were just going to buy. Is it Kingdoms of War?
Kings of War.
Kings of War. They just buy those zombies. Like Games Workshop cannot match that price. So
yes, they can. It would hurt their fucking 800% profit margin. Actually, no. What did that dude say? Like 30,000% markup.
Yeah, true. Well, yeah.
That was like one of the funniest memes I saw. Was that dude with the abacus that we were looking at just earlier? It's a meme of that guy, and it's like, it says here that I have to charge you $70 for like 30 cents of resin, something like that. It's pretty fucking good.
I dislike the zombie guys, the half nurgling, half human guys. It's fucking stupid.
See the Cadians, how the Cadians have their fucking Chimera, and you can buy it as a bundle for $96, which is fucking bargain. It's not. That's like ridiculous overpriced, and that's not a bundle at all. But Cadia is gone. The Imperial Guard, while those kids still exist, I imagine there'll probably be something around the corner for them, because they're basically getting the Primaris treatment. And I think that's what the Astra Militarum Stormtroopers are. They're the Imperial Guard equivalent of the Primaris Marine.
Oh, true.
And it's just like, this is just going to be the slow death of Imperial Guard. They'll release a codex for them, and they're just going to slowly morph over time until the Cadians are phased out, the Catachans are phased out, the Vestroians are phased out. Speaking of Vestroians, you can buy 3 identical las cannons with no conversion opportunity at all, made out of resin or white metal. It doesn't say, so I'm assuming white metal, for $87. What a bargain.
Yeah, that's the people that have Australian armies and stuff. It's good that they can finally fill it out. If there's none on eBay or something.
No, they still sell Australian stuff. So I don't know why they're... I guess because
no
they made a
going
bundle.
out to go and buy that shit now.
No, on Games Workshop's web store. They actually,
I know, but no one is going to be like, I'm going to make a Vestroian army right now. When they first came out, it was doable because they had the big box sets and shit like that. And people filling out their armies now, I can understand.
And they were literally half the price of now?
Yeah, and then now it's just, unless you're just some weird, I don't know why the hell you do it, because you're gonna die and you just want to fucking throw white metal out of a helicopter. It's really expensive for some reason on people to be a jerk. That's the only reason why I can foresee people wanting that.
Alright, so let's look at the last thing for Games Workshop for today. The Realm of Battle Moonbase Calassius. This is the terrain I've been asking for decades from Games Workshop. It's not Grimderb. It's not covered in skulls and aquillas and that kind of bullshit. These just look like metal bulkheads.
Mm-hmm.
This is the terrain we have been asking for years. I mean, personally, I've been asking for this sort of terrain. Looks fantastic. Well done to them. Seriously, well done, Games Workshop. Looks fucking great. More of this, please.
Yeah, but I wasn't asking for like a box of less than 10 pieces and get charged $6 million.
Okay, so first things first, price point. 140 Australian. Do you want to know what it is in UK dollars?
Sure.
It is £50.
Holy fucking good lord.
Worked out to, someone did the maths for me last night because I couldn't be fuck looking it up. I think it was Tim. It's 80 Australian dollars in the UK, 140 in Australia, so it's just under double.
And if all these people that say, hey, you can't just go ahead and do the conversion, that's wrong. Well, you can, and then you can go on eBay and buy it for fucking whatever, $100 with shipping, and you're saving yourself $40.
Laurie Goulding was on our page the other day, and he was saying how Games Workshop was making a loss in Australia, and then people, including myself, turned around and went, well, hang on a minute, here's the financial report from Games Workshop where they singled out Australian stores as making them heaps of money. And he's like, oh, yeah, nah, but like, I'm just telling you what they said when I was working for Games Workshop. It's like, well, what is it? Are you lying to your fucking shareholders, which I'm pretty sure is a major crime? Not saying they are, not saying that they are, I'm not making any allegation of criminal activity. What I am pointing out is that...
I am. I'll go ahead and... Kat says you're a bunch of fucking lying crooks. And it's only a matter of time until the fucking House of Cards comes humbling down and you'll fucking die and rot in prison. But most of you are going to fucking commit suicide because you're fucking cowards.
This show does not endorse the opinions of Kat. No, like, my point was that I don't think they're lying as such on their shareholder reports. I think they are making ridiculous amounts out of Australia. But the thing was, he was trying to say, and this is Laurie Goulding, for those who don't know, used to be like the editor-in-chief of like the Horus Heresy novel series and that kind of stuff, and he was big honcho over at Black Library. No longer works for Games Workshop, left due to creative differences or something last year or this year.
Still thinks he should defend them for some reason. Some reason has this moral obligation to try to defend them at every fucking corner for some reason.
And that's fine. I'm not going to judge the guy for that.
Though. Why the fuck does he need to?
But it can't be one. It can't be both. It's got to be one or the other. Either they were hemorrhaging money in Australia, or they're making record profits. And since they were saying they were making record profits on their fucking own paperwork to the shareholders, and they singled out Sydney store specifically as making them like ridiculous amounts of fucking money. Like, to put this into perspective for the listeners, on their financial reports, they basically say that the 30 stores in Australia made, in Australia and New Zealand, made Games Workshop as much money as the entire of North America. So let that fucking sink in.
Yeah, and just wait, see this fucking House of Cards fall down.
And you just wait and look down the fucking comments of this video for the apologists to come out of the woodworking, like, oh yeah, but you know what? Once you factor in like Australian shipping costs, because like it costs so much, the shit is made in China. For those who don't know, China, a lot closer to Australia than England. China, much further from England than it is from Australia. And with free trade with China and that kind of thing, China ships to Australia at like ridiculously cheap rates. We're like one of China's biggest trading partners, because like all of China's like iron ore and their coal and shit all comes out of Australia. A lot of their food comes out of Australia. Like, shipping costs to and from China, really good value for money for us. It's not shipping costs. Taxes, yes, there are taxes. There's an import duty, and then there's also your GST. But if you're going to talk about like products and then compare them to the UK, well, you've got to take off your VAT, because remember, UK products are sold with VAT included. So before you do a price comparison, you really have to take off their tax. Then you convert it over, and then you add on our tax, and that gives you a fairer appraisal of the price. In any case, we're just getting fucking shafted because we're paying nearly double for the exact same fucking kit, and it is made in China. It is made closer to us, not further from us.
And that's the thing, if you're going to order online, why don't you just go to eBay, buy it from UK cunts that are making money, because they can buy from other UK shops that get 30-40% off. They buy that, they sell it to Australians over eBay.
Well, there's
they make money.
Look at the 32 mil bases. 32 mil bases. Games Workshop was selling them for like 10 for 14 when they first brought out the black 32 mil bases. I went on fucking
Fucking
eBay
China
or
for
AliExpress, and
$15 for fucking.
no, I paid 20 American dollars for 200, and it was the exact same base, exact same plastic, right down to the fucking Games Workshop trademark on the underside of the base.
Yeah.
Straight out of China, people. And the shipping was free as well.
Yeah, they do. That's the commies do a good shipping. Sometimes it can take up to 28 days or so, but you know what? I'm pretty happy to wait.
Generally not more than a week or two for things from China. I've found for me. I know for people who order recast models, it can take a little longer.
Yeah, because you got to cast them up and shit. But yeah, usually bases and shit take only a couple of weeks for me. But I'm in the middle of fucking nowhere.
As for the table itself, I should probably talk about that.
Oh, yes.
The terrain looks great. The table is made out of thick cardboard.
That's cardboard? I thought it would...
Nope, cardboard tiles. It's even in the description. Now, I'm fine with making terrain out of like cardboard and shit. It isn't, however, not what I would call a long-term solution, because anyone, especially anyone who's ever lived in the tropics, watch what happens to paper and cardboard just sitting around.
Or MDF. MDF as well gets fucked on any MDF.
The humidity sinks into it and it warps like you wouldn't believe. Even shit that shouldn't warp, like moisture hardened or whatever they call it, like, you know, that moisture resistant fucking chipboard, it all warps. Because the humidity just fucks with
fences just melts, just like...
Yeah.
Fences flying over again.
Fences buckle, fucking, yeah. And Australia's a pretty hot and humid place.
So this for me, for $140, it's too much. I thought it was a neoprene mat, double-sided, with the fucking terrain on it.
No.
Which would be okay because that's like $100, right? I'd spend $100 on a neoprene mat which had a double side for a 6x4 neoprene mat, double-sided. I pay $100 of that shipped, fine. And then you got $40 of terrain, which less than 10 pieces. Still, I'd say that's a fair price. But it's fucking cardboard. Are you fucking kidding me? So it's like what, $4 worth of fucking table in there.
4 fold-out gaming boards made of extra thick hard-wearing card.
Fuck, that's a rip-off, man. $140. That should be $40.
What you should do is just cut up the back of the box it came in and just use that to extend your table, right?
Yes.
That's made of fucking hard-wearing card.
Duncan will come out with a fucking painting tutorial on that shit, man. How to paint your fucking box to extend your table out to a fucking 4x8. We got a question from Kat. He asked me, why do people suck my dick? And it comes shit, and people call it ice cream. Well, it's easy. People are fucking stupid.
The one wrote in the other day in White Dwarf, I put a picture of it on our Facebook, and it was someone's like, oh, who's the god of painting? If there's a gods of chaos, like, is one of them a god of painting? And the fucking White Dwarf editors are like, thinking they're like heaps down with the meta, like they're fucking in touch with the community or something. They're like, yeah, nah, the god of painting can only be appeased by his mantra of two thin coats. Yes, Duncan is the god of painting. No, Duncan is not the god of painting. He's your little fucking in-house fucking wank boy. If you want to see a god of painting, go to a fucking crystal brush competition. Like, I find nothing cute about that answer. I find nothing ha-ha tongue-in-cheek about it. No. He's not the god of painting. You'd be better off just saying, there is no god of painting, wink, and just left it at that. But instead, you're trying to make it out like, you can't be in on the meme Games Workshop. It's not cool if you're in on it. Am I right with that thinking, Kat? Like, a meme isn't as cool when the people are in on it?
He's a fuck man. He's a fuck man. He's gonna fucking kill his children.
That's a bit crazy, but yeah. So the
he doesn't have any children, Macca. But I'm also gonna fucking kill his grandchildren, which makes no sense because he doesn't have any fucking children. So why the fuck would he have grandchildren?
What, are you gonna kick him in the balls?
No, I'm gonna fucking scrape open his fucking head with an ice cream scoop and then fucking
feast on the gooey goodness inside. Yes, I too like The Simpsons. So yeah, terrain is great. The table itself is terrible.
It's not great for $140.
And you know what's worse? They won't sell this terrain. This terrain should be $30. 3 sprues for $30. That's what it should be. It is going to be, here's my prediction, $60 plus.
Do you reckon they will sell this for?
Yep, they will sell this terrain separate. It will be $60 plus.
You reckon they'll sell the cardboard fucking tiles separately?
No.
Yeah.
They will not sell the...
$100.
Actually, I wouldn't be surprised if they
two.
did. I wouldn't be surprised if they did, actually.
$100, man, for some cardboard fucking...
No,
whatever that is.
I'm telling you right now, $60 for 3 sprues of this little city building. That's my prediction. So people, hold me to it on the channel. Alright. Now we can finally give Games Workshop away and go to Forge World. So, first model I want to look at is actually the Nurgle Demon Prince and Herald. These are old models. These are not new. But this is to show you how much Games Workshop has fucking changed. Look at these fucking Nurgle models. Just look at them. He's got 3 rusty barrels coming out of his grotesquely oversized arm. There's no fucking tendrils coming out of him. There's no stomach mouth. There's no fucking cloud of flies coming out of him. The toxic, noxious goop on his back is like a barrel of fucking slurm with skulls and rotting corpses in it. There's no, like, fucking cute Nurgling with a gigantic eye the size of his fucking head with cartoonish Disney features standing on the side of it dancing. This is good old-fashioned Nurgle. Look at his little fucking herald with him. He's got a bionic robotic arm like some of those other Nurgle models do. But see how it's like all pitted and corroded and rusty? And that's not just the paint job, that's how it's sculpted. If this was new Nurgle, there'd be like a big pink fleshy tendril hanging out or wrapped around that arm or something, and instead of having like cables attached to it, it'd be like those stupid flesh hoses. Am I wrong with any of this thought, Kat?
Kind of reminds me of Duncan.
Well, he's a robot.
He looks slug. Yeah, I like it. It's really good. I remember when this came out.
Look, if this was new Nurgle, what would this Demon Prince be? He would have, instead of that like big stumpy arm that he has, and that cool drum on his back, it'd be more like that other Nurgle do with the hose.
Yeah.
It'd be the Slurm hose. There'd be a big vat on his back with window on it. There'd be little Nurglings, instead of like the ones that are sitting on him, it'll be cute little Nurglings that are jumping up and down and dancing on him. His colours, he would be like in nice bright colours instead of these dull ones. He would have tentacles all coming out of his stomach, and that little loincloth he has would either be dark purple or dark crimson. He wouldn't just be standing on the base like this. He'd have like one leg standing on the base, the other one would be standing up, and it'd be on top of something like a piece of building or rubble.
Which looks real good with you clear bases.
Yeah, fuck clear base wankers. Oh, and his right arm, the one that's just like a bald fist with a couple of spikes coming out of it, that would be like some sort of like grotesque Nurgle thing. That doesn't even look Nurgle. Like, it could be holding like a big meat cleaver in it, and the meat cleaver will have its own spine and tentacles all over it. Like, tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong.
Yeah, you got it down.
And yeah, he'd be like a bright green instead of like this dull earthy tones. And he'd have a bigger grin instead of like the tongue hanging out and his like all fucked up lips. He'd instead have like this really big grin that goes from like ear to ear. So he'd be Happy Nurgle.
It's kind of got a grin going on.
He does, but it would be emphasised a lot more. It'd be like that Terminator with the helmet that covers his eyes.
Like the Cheshire Cat. That'd be fucking...
Yes, exactly like that. And also, he would have like smokestacks coming off the back of him next to like the fucking vat of goop, and the smokestacks would have all fake smoke with flies coming out of it, and the gun would have instead of being like this really gnarly rusty thing, it would be like that hose. It'd have like drips of green gunk coming out of it. I'm gonna fucking Photoshop that up after this fucking this Scrubdown. I'm gonna go Photoshop it to prove to people what this thing would look like.
That's the new Death Guard there. Like, this guy's a noble demon there. That's exactly what people say. Like, yeah, it's a noble demon. And apparently noble demons are more Death Guard than Death Guard.
I mean, look at fucking Mortarion, and then look at this. Mortarion. Look at this.
The Chaos Renegade collection kind of look like Nurgle, like 2017 Nurgle Death Guard
Yeah,
for 40k.
yeah.
The fluoro pinks and fluoro greens. Maybe that's what they're going for.
Alright, so Legio Custode Aquilon Terminators. What do you think of those?
I think they're OP as fuck, and
I think they're not. I think they're actually one of the weakest units in the book, in the Custodes list, unless you include Sisters.
can't they all take fucking special shit?
They can all take Solarite Gauntlets or Solarite Talons, but they're very expensive compared to regular Custode. Like, regular Custodes are just better in most ways because they're much more
Are these the
points
jerks
efficient.
that can take Paragon Blades? They can all
No,
have
that's Hyterion Guard, which compete in the same
and are
force
they-
orc slot as them.
Okay, so no cunt's gonna take these, basically.
Well, these
right.
these are Terminators, right? These are basically Cataphractii Terminators. Even though it's called like Invictus Armor or something, these are essentially Cataphractii Terminators. But Hyterion Guard are like 2+, 5+ re-rollable invols.
Are they still in the Terminator, the same Terminator armor?
No, they can Sweeping Advance in everything. And the Hyterion are the ones with Paragon Blades. So any 6 to wound is an instant kill, and they're AP 2, and they strike at initiative. These are Terminators. Like, how do these guys fucking
basic
compare?
Terminators. Who the fuck is gonna take that?
They're basically armed with heavy flamers as well.
So they're basically there to be all like, you take a squad of these and a squad of the other ones to make yourself look not like a complete and utter asshole.
Yeah, these and Sagittarian Guard, the heavy support bolter dudes. Yeah, these are like the fluffy elite's choice for the Custodes. This is the only one that won't kick your dick straight off, but it'll put a big dent in the side of it so you can't like fucking piss straight again. That's what these do. Whereas the Hyterion Guard will, like, they'll kick your dick off and then they'll torch your dick. It's horrible. What do you think of the sculpts?
Oh no, man, I'm kind of over custode shit because it's just OP as fuck and every cunt's doing it. So I'm just tired of the red and gold and or silver and blue or whatever. Just sick and tired of that shit. And Forge World just keeps on pushing it out because it's giving them money.
There's a Legio Custode army option, and it comes with 2 squads of Custodes on foot, a squad of the Sagittarium, all 3 of their Dreadnought options, 2 squads of the Terminators, 2 transports, a single Palace Grav tank, a single... Oh no, there's 2 of the fucking heavy support tank, and the Orion Flyer and some jet bikes, and that is like a massive Custode army, points-wise. But it will kick the fucking dick off, like I said, of like a Marines army that's probably 2/3 as many points again. Like, I can't stress it enough.
Yes,
like
I do like your idea of 50% points penalty when playing against Custodes. I think that's the only way to balance Custodes. You need to, 50%. They can only take 50%.
When I was testing them, play testing them for Is It Shit, I took an army of Custodes all on foot. I had 1 Spear Dread, 1 Sword Dread. I had 25 foot Custodes. None of like the elite choices or anything. This is just like the basic troops, the basic infantry, Guardians and Sentinels. I took a Dick Kicker Tribune with the fucking invul save and the shield and all that kind of piss. And I got this is like the best case scenario. The other guy I was playing was a Dark Angels player with a strong list. He had multiple squads of jet bikes with acid rounds on their heavy bolters.
Oh, that's right.
His
yeah,
troops
that's a pretty
choices.
OP fucking
His
thing.
troops choices were all squads of veterans with 2 heavy bolters each in rhinos with poison rounds. He had thud guns, Legion thud guns, which everyone knows are pretty OP. He also had a Land Raider, which is a hard thing for Custodes in general to crack. He also had a squad of Javelin Land Speeders, and I think they had poison heavy bolters as well as crack missiles. And it was hammer and anvil deployment, so I started 4 feet away from him. I wasn't deep striking, I had to walk across the table. I still kicked the living shit out of him. Now, if people were wondering how, it's because there was objectives, and he still had to play to the objectives. His jet bikes, although they could jump like 36 inches a turn or something ridiculous, 24 inches a turn, it didn't matter, because even though he was peppering me with these jet bikes, the sheer amount of models and wounds that had to be distributed, and invul saves, and re-rollable invul saves, and he could not kill the custodes, even with a 4-foot table to shoot at me with. It took me until turn 4 to get into combat, and that's like moving and running with fleet for like 3 fucking turns straight to get across that fucking 24-inch gap between us. Oh, sorry, 40. I think it was like 48 inches between like his closest shit and mine when the game started. And it took me to turn 40 into combat, and I still won. Like, he had a fucking Delegatus fully pimped out as his HQ in a Terminator squad of Cataphracti Terminators in his Land Raider. And the Tribune on his own killed them all. Because the Tribune is like fucking something ridiculous, like weapon skill 7, toughness 5. I was strength 6 at the Paragon Blade. My 6s to wound, instant kill. All my strikes were at initiative, which was initiative 6. It was mastercrafted as well with some pierce, and I had a 3+ rerollable invul save, and like there was no way on earth this fucking guy was gonna beat that.
No, especially when the Custodes are paying the same amount of points to the HQs as the Marines are. But they're twice as good.
Yeah, and people want to say, oh, but you know, like you can't compare a Custode to a Centurion. A Centurion's designed to do a specific role. It's like, yeah, a Legion Centurion upgraded to, like, say, like a Master of the Forge or something, costs the same as 3 regular Custodes. Like, it's insane. That's how unbalanced it is. Like, you're talking about like a fully pimped out character for a Marine, and he costs the same as like a basic squad in the Custodes army, and that basic squad has a equal or better save, more wounds, more attacks, higher initiative, higher strength, higher toughness. Like, come on, how can people not see the problems here? We're not saying people can't play Custodes as an army, but it is the most broken faction, and it should not be an army. And if you find yourself going to like narrative events using Custodes, you're playing the game wrong. And that's not a subjective opinion. It's you are playing the game wrong. Unless your narrative event is the Siege of Terra or the War in the Webway, your Custodes have no fucking business playing the game. They're an army that shouldn't even be in the fucking game, as far as I'm concerned. They're like Knights Errant. They should be an allied choice.
Fucking allied, absolutely. And the fact that they're not even on the Force Organization chart, and that any army can take this. So, you know, Sons of Horus, fill your boots. Take all the Custodes you want.
Yeah, well, everyone remembers the famous Siege of Terra where Horus and his Custode bodyguard beamed down to the Emperor's Palace. Because you can do that. And you can make them a no... Because Horus has a no-scatter deep strike. So you join Horus and a squad of the Haterion Guard in reserves with a dick kicker Tribune, and then just deep strike into the middle of your opponent's army, and then just... Yep. If they don't concede at that point, something's fucking wrong.
Fluff.
Yeah, there's nothing fluffy about playing a Custodes army. Like, I'm looking around at like pictures from events on Facebook, and I'm seeing people, like Custodes players, making up about a quarter of the players at events. Now, that's fine if you're playing like we say, dick kicking. You're playing a win at all costs tournament. Fine. Take the army that's strongest for you. People don't have to like it, but you're allowed to do it. You go to a narrative event, you're taking like all these Custodes. It's like, yeah, you're doing it fucking wrong. It's like me and Thousand Suns. I could take like invisibility and fucking biomancy on all my fucking sorcerers. Cats played me. I don't. And because of that, people keep playing me, because they like playing my Thousand Suns. It's like, yeah, just... Fuck, man. I fucking hate what Custodes I represent. I really do.
Same. It's cool they got the Imperial Arvis lighter back.
Everyone likes the Arvis.
It's so cool. So cyberpunk looking.
Its rules are terrible, but it's so cool looking.
I like it. It can take an auto cannon or a las cannon or something else, a heavy bolter maybe, but it's pretty cool. I like it. It's not a custode level of fucking OP-ness, and you actually
It's the exact
have to
opposite.
pay the shit, pay for shit slow when it's cumbersome. But man, it looks mad, and it's so cool when you got these little toughness 3 militia guys coming out of it with whatever the way you want to.
They look great in Zone Mortalis' terrain. Like, I know a lot of people, like Sutton has one on his table, like painted up, and they're just like sitting there as terrain on like a landing pad. They look fucking great for that. Oh, I love that little Arvis. That Arvis, by the way, from Forge World is cheaper than buying that fucking table from Games Workshop. So,
So if you want terrain, just buy an Arvis.
just buy an Arvis. Alright, so the Legio Custode Orion Assault Dropship. So I made a video about this because myself and another cool YouTuber, Leaky Cheese, so I'm not the cool one, he is. We were joking around in his comments section because he was building one of these in one of his videos. Go check out his channel sometime if you haven't seen it before. It's a pretty good channel. Yeah, he was building one of these. I was joking around with him about like, what rules it'd have. We got nearly every single fucking rule this thing has right. The only thing...
You just need to throw every OP piece of shit at a piece of paper.
Yeah, the only things we got wrong were the things where we were being like deliberately dicks. Like where I said this probably only costs 30 points. It's undercosted for sure. This thing costs the same as 2 Storm Eagles, and it is a lot tougher. We'll get into that later. So yeah, I was joking around with him about that, and I was like, "This rule's dropped," and I just started laughing like a maniac because I was like, we got this so right." And then I put together this video, and I was just laughing the whole time because like, it's the hilarity of knowing something was going to be stupid, and then just guessing exactly how it would be. Where we went wrong was the one thing we didn't pick was that not only would it have a flare shield, but it would be a special snowflake flare shield. Oh, before we get into the rules, what do you think of the actual sculpt, Cat?
It's cool how they've gone with Tau, I guess.
It looks like it does look like a Tau devilfish, or maybe like one of their flyers, like a barracuda. Just like had a rear end collision with one of the custode speeders, and the speeder like nacelles got wedged on the sides of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's got the guns off like the dreadnought, and yeah, it looks nothing like a fucking marine tank. And can I also, you know how I've been picking on people who write in the comments all episode, Cat? Yeah, I've got to do that again. There's always that one person who likes to say, it doesn't matter if it doesn't look Imperial, because Custodes, they have all the hidden technology uncovered during the Great Crusade from the Xenos, and so their equipment's allowed to look completely different. It should still have a hint of the Imperium about it. There is nothing that screams Imperium about this model. Like, there's a single Aquila on it, above the cockpit. And a tiny little one.
Space Marine armor.
Yeah.
This fucking vehicle.
Yeah. If you painted this up as a Tau aircraft, maybe put some gun drones on it somewhere, people would think this is a Tau flyer. I guarantee it.
What the fuck is with the front of it? Why does it have that many fucking lights? Cunts don't use their fucking indicator as it is. What the fuck
Well,
is this?
that must be the shield. It just blinds its enemies.
Well. Gee.
It does have a lot of lights. It's like they couldn't figure out what they wanted to do with it. But, okay. I still have the Games Workshop page open. So I'm going to go to the 40k on Games Workshop's page. I'm going to look up the Tau, okay? So, do forgive me for fucking you around, our loyal listeners. So, I'll just pick the Hammerhead. I could pick like their Razor Shark fighter, but look at the cockpit on the Hammerhead. It's a little raised hatch with a vision slit across the front. Oh, the Custodes one's a raised hatch with a vision slit across the front. That's not really Imperial aesthetic. Well, what about the engine? Maybe
that's the fluff, man. Maybe that's the fluff. Maybe game fucking.
Well, what about the engine? Marine engines, like Imperial engines.
Knowledge, man.
Oh.
It's a conspiracy, fucking.
Okay, so Imperial engines generally have a round intake. Like think Storm Eagle, Storm Raven, Thunderhawks. They've all got a round jet turbine. Basically, looks like the front of a 747 engine. Tau, on the other hand, have these big slotted vent grills, and they're in pylons off to the sides of the ship. Oh, look at the Custode one. Slotted grills with pylons off to the side of the ship. Or what about the back of the Tau engines? Oh, there's 2 afterburners coming out the back of the engine. What about the... Oh, the Orion has 2 afterburners coming out of each engine. Oh, what about the ramp? Oh, that's right, Tau stuff, they've got their ramp in the back, whereas Imperial stuff's the ramp's in the front. You see where I'm going with this, people? This has more Tau aesthetic than Imperial aesthetic. I'm not saying that's wrong. I'm not saying you're wrong if you like it. I think it's a fine looking aircraft. It just feels too Tau, not Imperial enough. If it was Imperial, it would have more like individual gun turrets on it or something, or it'd have bigger fins on the back of it, squared off a bit more, not as smooth and sleek. They could have like squared off the chin on the aircraft instead of this really smooth nose. It could have been more squared off, like on the Thunderhawks. I'm not saying you square off the whole thing, I'm just saying you square it off enough that it like hints at where it might have come from, the genesis of the vehicle. Because remember, Custodes in all the books pretty much use the same technology that other people do, and it's all based off like STCs. And there is nothing about this that looks like it came from an STC. Now, it's one thing to say, oh, like, you know, power armor and guns, like bolt guns, for example, are created by scientists and Magos and the Emperor himself. That's fine. They're little things, but like the Imperium as a whole, like all their tanks, their grav technology, all of that is like recovered technology. They didn't just come up with it, like they had to find it. Power armor is something they came up with, and they haven't got it quite right. That's why they keep coming out with different versions of power armor and different versions of bolt guns. Because they're like, oh, it's not quite doing what we need it to. Whereas, you know, they're figuring it out through trial and error. This is the opposite of that. This is like raw ingenuity and creativity. And if people want to say, oh, the Emperor probably came up with it. Really? At what point during the Great Crusade, where the Emperor had this massive fucking workload of conquering the galaxy, at what point did he come up with this? Did he just like put down that Webway project for a few weeks while he was doing up the designs for this?
Yeah, man, like in 40k, like Gilliman, he can just be in 2, 3, 40 places at once, apparently.
Yeah, because a big thing about the Emperor leaving the Great Crusade, for those who may not be familiar with the Horus Heresy books, is he was like, Horus, I'm handing you the title of War Master because I have too much work. I cannot handle the amount of work I've got. Now, what was more important to the Emperor, do you think? Webway Project, Great Crusade, or Custodes Flyer? I reckon the Custodes Flyer is probably at the bottom of that list of fucking massive projects.
How's his bodyguard supposed to go and get some fucking sweet eats from McDonald's, bro, without some stupid...
Yeah. In all the books, they just...
can't go do manies down the street in some shitty fucking Rhino, can they? They've got to have this mad fucking thing. Maybe that's all he did. He just gave his bodyguard some cash and they just went out and bought
But
something.
in all the books, the Horus Heresy
local
trading
shop.
card game, they were all just Imperial tanks. But the Custodes just had better versions of them. Like, where the Marines had Land Raiders, the Custodes had Grav Raiders. Where the Marines had Rhinos, the Custodes had Grav Rhinos. Where the Marines had jet bikes, the Custodes had bigger jet bikes. But when they've come to visualizing the Custode army as a force, they've gone, well, nah, you know what? Let's just give them a completely unheard of fucking vehicle that looks nothing like other Imperial vehicles. Oh, okay. Oh, when it comes to flyers, let's not take like a Storm Eagle and custode it up. Let's instead take a Tau ship and custode it up. You see the problem here? Anyway. Said my bit.
Yeah, they haven't released much of what I want to see. I want to see the sisters with the cyber dogs and cyberbirds and stuff. I want to see Space Wolf stuff.
Sisters I'm more forgiving of as an army because, like with Tim's weird fluff, they at least have the black ships and they're out there in the galaxy.
What is wrong with Tim?
But
I guess, but when the fuck would they help Night Lords? But anyway,
yeah, but you know, the sisters are out there in the galaxy on the black ships, actively doing
models.
things. The Custodes are not. The Custodes are not out there in ships, hanging around the galaxy. No matter what the fucking fluff wizards like to say.
According to this fucking website, from what I'm seeing, they're fucking 80% of the fucking force out in the Imperium.
Yeah, well.
Custodes are like the main body of troops. They're not an elite force. They're the main guys walking around.
Yeah, well, they wouldn't be guarding the Emperor and the Imperial Palace. That's just silly, cat. So, yeah, that's a thing.
Well, I liked how they put like a couple of squads with some legions and stuff at their HQ to try and, as you know, staff officers or whatever. That's fine. That's really cool fluff. But apparently now they're just the main fighting force of the fucking Imperium. Like it's insane. I don't understand. And I want to see this more Space Wolf stuff. The Space Wolf guys have not gotten fuck all from their fucking.
They've also gotten away from the heart of the Custodes, which is the infantry. The infantry are the heart and soul of Custode, and in like the audiobooks, like the Garrow audiobooks, he talks about the Custodes, and he's like, I've never in my whole fucking history, and I've been there since the Unification Wars in the Death Guard Legion, have ever seen Custodes take the field of battle en masse and fight as like a unified army. I've never seen more than like a single squad of them in action, and that's even when the Emperor was in the fucking battle. Like, that's straight out of the fucking audiobooks, for those who haven't like listened to the Garrow audiobooks. Alright, the rules for this thing. Yeah, it's broken. On the scale of like Legion to Custodes, this thing is pretty low down. This is like the Terminators and the Sagittarium. It's not the most broken thing in the book, but it's broken when you take it outside of this list. For 600 points, so you're only paying like 100 points more than a Spartan, realistically. Because what's a fully pimped out Spartan, cat?
I think 415 or something.
Yeah, it's... And
that's the Spartan isn't a super heavy.
No, but this is. Now, what benefits do you get from being a super heavy? Well, you can never get stunned, never get shaken. You can always split fire all your weapons.
You can only be taken in 2,000 points.
Oh,
but this can be. This can be. Oh wait, can it? No, it can't. It can't be taken in 2,000 points.
No, 2,500 it would be.
Ah. Well, no. Is that?
Yeah, 20. You need 2420 points.
2420. So if some custode player goes, "Hey, you want to play a 2420 game?" You know what's coming.
Yeah, say no.
You look that cunt in the eye and you say, "Fuck off."
Remember what old Jack Burton says in a time like this? Fuck off.
So yeah, it's
Jack Burton
tip for our fucking viewers, mate. It's just
pro tip: 2420 point games. Something sus.
420. That's so funny too. Lol, memes, bro.
All right. Yeah. Why is this thing so strong? Okay, so you take like a Storm Eagle. Storm Eagle is armor 12 all round, has 4 hull points, ballistic skill 4, and that's 300 points nearly. So you're getting the equivalent of 2 Storm Eagles here, with 1 less hull point. But it's got slightly better front armor, slightly worse rear armor, but a better ballistic skill, and it's a super heavy that can't get shaken or stunned. Or like the beauty of this is, unlike other like marine vehicles or other vehicles out there, if this thing gets hit, for example, whereas marines might go, "Oh no, I've been hit. Now my squad inside is shaken or stunned, and they're going to find it harder to shoot or assault." This doesn't have that penalty. The people inside this will always be able to get into assault if it survives. That's what makes it strong, because this is the Dreadnought transport. The one thing that Custodes lack is the ability to transport Dreadnoughts. They have to walk across the battlefield, and Custodes Dreadnoughts, as you remember, Cat, are fucking ridiculously strong for their points. Like, one of them can give like a half a dozen D attacks on the charge. It's fucking insane.
What, the Spear Boy?
Yeah.
Yeah, Spear Boy's strong.
And the sword one's pretty strong as well. So, this is a delivery method for not only Dreadnoughts, but also a squad of something. Because, the funny thing about
24 fucking models.
Yeah, so...
What the fuck level
you could still fit 6 Custodes in this, and a Dreadnought.
But what level is fucking points is game are you playing? Jeez. Why
in fact, 7. You could fit 7 Custodes and a Dreadnought in this thing. So...
Okay, so the Custodes are considered super bulky motherfuckers?
They're bulky. Just bulky. If there was no Dreadnought in it, it would be 12 Custodes. But if you chuck a Dreadnought in it, which would be the smart money, then yeah, it's ridiculous. Weapons-wise, it's strong. It also has that stupid grav backwash rule, which I called that it would have, and it does have it, which means that it's actually really hard to assault. It's a -2 to hit in assault. So best case, you're hitting it on 5s.
That's if it ever goes in hover mode.
Yeah, which it might to let some troops out to kick your dick in, but if this thing lets troops out,
and
if this thing lets a squad of fucking custodes out near the foot of it, how are you going to assault it, is my question.
Well, I don't know. Maybe that's the better option, to just try and attack this thing than whatever the hell it's dropping off. Honestly, even with the -2 penalty, maybe you're probably better off trying to destroy this thing.
As for its special rules, macro array strike. Deep strike interference. So if you deep strike anywhere within 12 inches of this, the custo player rolls a dice, and on a 4+, you mishap.
That's fucking strong, man. That's a 50% chance.
Yes, it is very strong when I
Can we re-roll this in any way, somehow?
No.
Magic or something?
No.
What if we have a allied sorcerer or something? No, it has to be a way to fucking re-roll this motherfucker. It has to be.
Targeting interference.
I have a dog tag that allows me to re-roll 1 dice. Ha!
I'd have to double check targeting interference rule. But yeah, it's something to do with, like, you know, snapshot it or something on arrival if you're within so many inches or some bullshit. Interception interference. This is a really fucking balanced rule. When it enters the battlefield and any enemy units say they're going to use the intercept rule on it, so, like, you know, the anti-aircraft guns, the one fucking thing you bought them for, they actually have to roll a d6 for every unit that it's attempting to fire. So not for every shot, for every unit. And if you roll a 3 or less, then you can't intercept it on it. So those anti-aircraft guns that you pay all those expensive points for, they come down, and there's a 50% chance they won't get to fire at this thing. It is fair and balanced model, comrade. It's only a game. Why do you have to be mad?
So it is a fucking.
Okay. Oh, here's one of. Here's
it
one
is
for
a
you,
super
Kat.
So you do have that.
So this thing drops down in front of your Deredeo, right? Deredeo is one of the strongest anti-air weapons there is because it's strength 8, and it's got sundering.
What about his? Okay, if you're gonna go down that path, you're gonna have to go down the Las Cannon Boy Deredeo as well, because he has a chance to fucking.
Okay. So let's go. Do you want to go the Deredeo with the twin-winged las cannon?
Look.
So he gets the two shots. Two shots. Ballistic skill 5.
Auto Cannon Boy can't do it, can he? Because it's too many hull points, and he can't. Can he get a pen? Because it's not rendering, is it? The dread.
The main gun? No, I don't think it is.
Auto cannons. I don't think they're rendering.
No, it's just AP4. No, it's AP3 strength 8.
Yeah, I don't think.
Alright, so las cannon Deredeo. So 2 shots, strength 10.
No, he can still pen though.
He
can still pen. He can still pen. So if you get lucky...
Hang on, no. If this thing comes down in front of you, it'll be armor 14 front because it's a flare shield. Yeah. So...
Okay, so he can't pen.
So that twin las cannon dreadnought. I'm pretty sure... Actually, I'll try and look it up. I'll try and look it up.
You can't kill him. So Dorito with Mr. fucking auto guns, he cannot pen this boy. So unless you have a bunch.
And that's the most common Deredeo you'll see.
You can fucking whole point it out, but even then you're really struggling because you have to be rolling your 6s to glance.
Well, there's one thing I know won't hurt it. That's the fucking Leviathan, because that's a piece of shit.
I know what we can do, Maka. We can just get a fucking squad of freaking missile troops and spend 25 points per boy and give them fucking flak missiles.
Here we go, Deredeo with Arachnus heavy las cannons.
Not individually, but you know, it's fuck flak missiles are fucking stupid.
No, the rules aren't on Fortune, so I'm pretty sure they're strength 10 las cannons with 2 shots. I think it's a 2-shot strength 10 las cannons on the Deredeo with the las cannons. In fact, I've got the book next to me. Let me look it up in the book. You just talk to our lovely listeners.
Okay, well, I'll go on to... We're just going to segue over here for a bit. I haven't been motivated to do a lot of fucking hobby recently because I've been hit by a fucking car. Obviously, I was 18 days in hospital. Might do a video on it. Let me know. It's pretty gory, some of the shit. They said they would have to chop my foot off as soon as I got to hospital. There's a whole bunch of shit. Multiple surgeries. I've got another surgery coming on. I have to put a piece of my hip in my bone, in my fucking foot. bones fucking missing and shit. But just really not motivated. The fact that I can't fucking walk around the joint without crutches is a big thing. But I just haven't been motivated because just all the fucking 40k crap is just the community split with 8th edition and 7th edition. People loving going to 40k again and all that other shit. Just not being motivated for any sort of hobbying. My Dark Angels army, I've made the fluff so boring that I just not motivated to paint them at all. I have got a little bit better on the old freehand. Hop on over to that Instagram page. I'll start putting up more photos of that. Got a fair amount of people who have subscribed to the Instagram as well, so thank you for that. That is to do some of our work, mostly Macca's work. So I plan. I'm going to use that as motivation to try and get some shit out, or at least take some pictures and do something, because I'm not doing anything obviously being a mobile, but just been feeling sorry for myself as well. A lot with comments and shit. Also, PUBG's come out. It's a game.
Oh, okay. I can't find the exact rules for the Derridero because it's not in book 7. I'm not sure which...
No, not the les cannons, right? So, it'll be on the Forge World website, right?
No, I'm looking at it. It's actually not there.
What if you Google it?
Can't really be fucked. But let's just say it's 2 strength 10 ballistical 5 las cannon shots. So first thing you're gonna do is when you fire at this fucking dropship, you've got to roll a dice. On a 4+, you can fire. On a 3 or less, you don't get to fire. So that's your first hurdle. Let's say you do get to fire. 2 shots, you're going to hit. Now, the to pen part is the interesting part, because if it's in the front arc, you're going to need a 4 to glance or a 5 to pen. And they're only AP2 as well, so you good luck doing a decent amount of damage. You're probably going to knock 1 hull point off.
No, but this is the thing. You're trying to do on 3 no. This is the only thing that'll be able to kill it in 1 shot, right? And it's obviously not a meme. So he's strength 10, AP2, Exo Shock. When you suffer penetrating hit from this weapon, roll a d6 on a 4+, suffer another penetrating hit. So that gives you a little bit more of a chance.
Oh, one of the Custodes ones?
Well, no, this is the Arcanus Pada Heavy Lads Cannon.
Oh, there you
so
go.
These are the rules for the boy. So yeah,
it's 2 shots, strength 10, yeah?
Strength 10, AP2, Exo Shock, because he has 2, I'm guessing. It's not linked. Okay.
Okay, so in theory...
So if you get a penetrating hit, you get another... On a 4+, you get another chance of a penetrating hit. If that was a Custodes weapon, you would just automatically fucking get that extra penetrating hit.
Oh, no, they don't, but there are Custodes weapons just like that. The thing that's interesting, if you do pen it, then it reduces the strength of attacks by weapons of blast templates by -2. If shooting attack targeting Orion's front arc inflicts a glancing or a penetrating hit, then the Orion immediately gains the Shrouded special rule against all subsequent shooting attacks targeting it from the front arc.
So he gets a save, right?
Gets a 5+ save.
Well then. Man, they really think they want this motherfucker to die.
Yeah, also, worth pointing out, the targeting interference rule is when it's targeted by a barrage weapon, the barrage weapon has to roll an additional d6 for the scatter and pick the 2 highest results. So not only does it limit the strength of blast weapons hitting it by 2, so it'll turn a strength 10 Medusa into a strength 8 gun, which can only glance the front of it. You have to roll 3d6 and pick the highest 2 to see. So don't ever try and shoot this thing even in hover mode with fucking artillery, because chances are they're just going to go nowhere near it, or they're going to just spud into the armor on a 6 to glance at best. And this thing will probably get a 5+ save against it.
This is the only thing, this is the most effective way to destroy it though, right? Unless you've got something else that can do way to fire. What about that big fucking, the Sicarian with the,
Well, none of them have Skyfire.
It doesn't, but it's a bigger way to fire.
Alright, it's strength 5 though, because the Punisher Cannon. What's strength 5 going to do to armor 13?
I'm not a mathematician, but fuck all.
Oh, sorry, 14 on the front. The only place that can hurt it is shooting it in the arse, which is armor 11.
Okay, so what about a normal Sicarian? So he's strength 7, but he's got rending.
Normal Sicarian can rend it. You're going to hit with 2, maybe 3 shots, and then you're going to get 1 rending, and then you got to really ridiculously thin chance of
And then you've got the
getting a pen
les
out of that
cannons on the
rending.
side as well. That people love to take the les cannons. I use him as
good way to
I use
piss
him as
away
an
points.
I know. Look, there has to be a way. Well, all right. So we're playing a fucking huge fucking points game.
Maybe a Sicarian Venator if this thing is in hover mode. Because it's got like
I'm sure there's some sort of mechanicum bullshit that can fuck it up. Oh, what about the flying fucking bug boys?
Oh, like an Avenger fighter with like Kraken penetrators.
Ooh, yeah. So can we Air Force this?
Avenger or fucking Lightning? Lightning maybe.
Lightning apparently is the better one.
But mind you, this thing does have an armored cockpit for some reason. Now, I think this is another case
Probably
of...
because there's a slit for a vision port.
No, but the armored cockpit is a special rule.
Oh, it's a super heavy, right? Of course.
Yeah, so armored cockpit does nothing for a super heavy. This is a case of... And this is where they say they playtest this shit? No. No. They are lying when they playtest, or they're playtesting under extremely wrong circumstances. Because proper playtesters should have picked up that an armored cockpit won't do anything for a super heavy. Because as far as I know, armored cockpit means that the pilot doesn't get shaken or stunned, something like that, in a flyer.
And a super heavy can't do that already, huh?
Yeah. It's an upgrade for Lightnings. I'm pretty sure it's in book 3. I'm going to go have a look.
Yeah, so before Mac interrupted us, everyone interrupted us? Yeah, anyways, check out Instagram, come on our Facebook page. We're working on making a Discord channel. So if anyone plays Warhammer Online, not Warhammer Online, fucking Warhammer Total War, there's a new one coming out, number 2, just got released I think yesterday, as we record this. There's PUBG and stuff. If you guys want to just, try and get a community and, have some chats so people can just, talk shit about GW or try and defend it in real time. So yeah, working on that. It's just administrators for that. It's kind of hard, and working for getting bots and stuff. It's a bit of a work in progress, especially I'm feeling sorry for myself. I'm not doing a fuckload of on the channel. There is a competition. Mac is running as well. If you guys haven't heard about that, go look at the Tyrion video. If you watch the whole of that thing, you'll get more details about the little competition and a chance to win about stuff, because we are actually got a little bit of revenue, and he wants to give back to you guys for being mad dogs. Hopefully it's just not a big bag of clear bases like he gave me. But if it is, shit on it, right? It's free. Yeah, so let us know in the comments what you guys have been up to hobby-wise and shit, and definitely hit up our Facebook page. Working on a Facebook page as a community, so everyone control us there as well. Yeah, sweet. But yeah, I was just saying before, we've been playing a lot of PUBG. Mac came to my house as well to take care of me for a bit, so I didn't go crazy. Basically all I did was play PUBG while he just trolled the shit out of me, talking shit while I played PUBG. So we're doing that. Some of the Horus podcast dudes play as well, so that's been a thing. So yeah, everything's going down. The old computer games. There's actually another computer game released recently. It's an Inquisitor top-down view game that's in beta at the moment, I think. It is okay. It's cool. It's a single-player boy, and it's a multiplayer thing as well. I love the aesthetic of it. It is I really find this. So yeah, Games Workshop have been giving out their IP to anybody who wants to use it to make any sort of computer games. So there's been a lot of good computer games and a lot of shit ones.
I'm back.
This one's an okay. No worries, let's continue on what you were saying.
Oh, okay. Ignore crew shaken results on a 4+. It's super heavy. Why does it have that? Oh, that's right, because they don't playtest this shit. If I sound like I'm jaded, bitter, and cynical, it's only because I'm jaded, bitter, and cynical.
Yeah, of course. But these dudes, obviously, you got Games Workshop, and they have a pretty small staff at their head office. And then Forge World's even smaller. Like, they don't have the time to fucking play test unless they're playing in their own time, which they probably, not all of the cunts are, because they're doing this shit for a job. So
I find it shocking because the Legions are balanced
the fact that
really
they don't
well.
know their own fucking rules shows fucking.
Yeah.
Obviously, they're busy cunts, which is fair enough, but they should fucking outsource this shit or something.
It's like when people turn around to me when I pick up like a really bad fluff and they go, oh, you know, they're the author of a Black Library. I think they know their own fluff. No, I don't think they do. Because a Black Library author isn't necessarily a long-time Warhammer fan. They could just be an author doing a fucking commission job. Like, they're good at it and they've applied for it. Maybe they know their Marine lore really well, for example. Right, they're a big Marine fanboy and they submitted some work to Games Workshop or Black Library, and Black Library goes, oh, fuck, come write a novel for us. Here's your first assignment, write a book on the Eldar. And straight away they're like, oh, fucking what? Oh, well, it's a paycheck. Maybe I'll get to write a Horus Heresy novel or something cool next.
Oh, fuck.
And then they just...
Going on to that,
and then they just fuck up
they've
fluff.
announced about the Horus Heresy novel series will be coming into an end shortly. Who was the dude? It was the guy that tried to defend...
Oh, Laurie Golding.
Is it Laurie Golding? Nah, Laurie Golding, no, he's not right, dude.
Oh, well, Aaron Dembski Bowden.
Yes, that cunt. Now, when I say cunt, I mean...
You know he's only done 3 Horus Heresy novels?
And he's going to be doing the fucking Envoy. It has to be more than one book. There has to be more than just him doing the Envoy, right?
Oh, it'd probably be a trilogy, but... Okay, so... Here's the problem with that. The Horus Heresy novel series has been going for... Fuck, what, 10, 15 years now? It was a pretty long time ago they started.
I think fuck. I'll keep on going, I'll let you know.
Yeah,
Okay.
So, these books have been around for a long time. So far, some legions haven't even had a book devoted to them. Some haven't really had a revisit. For example, like Death Guard haven't got their own novel. The closest they've come is Flight of the Eisenstein. And they've also cropped up in a few other novels like Scars. Was that one where Horus and Moloch, Battle of Moloch or something? So
April 2006, the first Horus Heresy.
What did I say, 10, 15 years? That's 11 years. I was close.
Yeah.
It's right in the middle of my guesstimates. So, these books have been out for that long. In that time, they've done 3 books devoted to the Sons of Horus. They've done 1 for Blood Angels, 1 for Thousand Suns. They've done 1 for Space Wolves, 1 for the Alpha Legion. And yes, there's some crossover with these legions popping up in other books, and there's sort of those little like Primarch series novels that focus on like pre-Horus Heresy, so they don't count. There's 1 on the Iron Warriors, Angel Exterminatus, and it's like most of the books, there's like 1 for each legion. And what they've covered is they've covered like the drop site massacre in the beginning of Istvan. They've covered the war on Ultramar with like the Word Bearers and the Ultramarines and the World Eaters. And
there've been some short story ones, and
they have.
I'm
mostly
I'm a tweaker, man.
Mostly
Like,
the
I
novels
love
have been
those
putting
short
the chess pieces in place. They've been putting.
Yeah,
they've been
some
putting.
of them just go on a really wide direction. And
Yeah.
have no fucking point.
Yeah, like Angel Exterminatus. Even though I kind of like
Is that
it.
the sleeping pool?
The one where they go like the Eldar Craven world and.
Oh no, I'm thinking of the Dark Angels one.
Oh
Like
yeah, the Dark Angels ones are.
It's just like a.
Not Gav
John
Thorpe's finest
Grisham.
work.
It's my god.
Same with the Raven. Well, he did a really good Raven Guard book though. Deliverance Lost is a genuinely good book.
You didn't like Legion?
I didn't like Legion. Did not like Cygnus. Was it Fear to Tread? The book about Cygnus. So yeah, but basically, the only legions that have gotten like more than 1 book are Sons of Horus, the Ultramarines, the Dark Angels. Mind you, half the Dark Angels books have nothing to do with the fucking Horus Heresy until about like pre-fucking Emperor. So, It's not
like,
like
oh,
the Imperium isn't even in it. Like that's
yeah, they're just like, oh yeah, so we can't bust heads like we used to, but I can just tell stories of go nowhere to bore them to death. Like that's so I tied an onion to my belt, which was the style at the time.
so yeah. There's
So pointless, such a bad.
that's those.
Just not my taste.
Yeah.
Like,
Scars
like
have only
fiction,
just
so
got their
that's
books. Scars are up to 3 books actually. They have a trilogy now.
oh,
Realistically.
I could not get into that.
Trilogy? No, it's a duology. Path
I
of
couldn't get into
Heaven
Scars.
and Path of Heaven's really good.
I couldn't get into Scars. It's still in my book somewhere.
They don't have a proper trilogy because one's a short story, Brotherhood of the Storm, which is a short story. Then there's Scars itself, which is really good. You couldn't get into it, but as a Thousand Suns and Scars fan, it was
Apparently
like perfect
it's
for me.
full of action and stuff, and I'm just like, what the hell? When the hell are they gonna stop for a breather? It's like the fucking two brothers from Rick and Morty. It's just shit's just happening and happening.
It's because it came out as like a series of short stories, and they combined them together into one novel.
Shit just kept. I'm just like, fuck! I forgot to breathe while I'm reading.
Path of Heaven's really good, but yeah. So another one's like the Iron Hands and the Salamanders. They've basically got no fucking books. Like the Iron Hands don't even have a fucking novel, just about Iron Hands.
They don't even have a. You don't even have a head, mate.
Yeah.
Fuck
Yeah.
Iron
So
Hands. I'm pretty.
But basically, everything was getting the pieces in place. Like they set up the legions well. They set up the war itself, like where all the legions are at, who their loyalties are with, and then you're just waiting for everything to tick over until like, all right, now the loyalists are going to start conducting their own campaigns, and instead they just skip past all that.
Some people might call it karma. Me shitting on Iron Hands the whole fucking whole time, and now I've got like this exosuit skeleton thing on my fucking leg. People are pretty. Some of you boys out there giving me shit for that. Thanks. I did have a good laugh at that actually, and thanks to some of our fans. Some of you guys just reached out to me on Facebook and asked me how I'm going, and it was really touching. So thank you for that. Whoever did that, there was a fuckload. So I did reply to everybody, but man, it was fucking people I didn't even know. Track me down a little bit stalky, but thanks either way. It was really touching.
Yeah, it was nice. Yeah, genuinely nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we got to this point where we're expecting like, oh, well, the traitors are cutting like a red path across the galaxy. The loyalists are going to strike back, obviously, and take over some traitor worlds, and all these battles that are alluded to. We're going to see some of those. Instead, they're just like. And the Siege of Terra happens, and that's where we're at. About half the novels I reckon that have been released are just compendiums of fucking short stories, which are just obnoxious. So like, just give us one good Death Guard novel, for example. But like,
well, they had that.
What was the Death Guard novel?
They had that. It's not Death Guard model, but I believe it was the flight of the Eisenstein. That's really more about Garrow, isn't it?
Yeah, it's about Garrow and Sisters of Silence and.
Garrow's Death Guard.
It's only like the first chapter is Death Guard.
There is a specific story because I remember, isn't there in the book somewhere? It's when he gives over to Nurgle, right? In one of the novels, or am I thinking of?
At the very end, there's like a Nurgle demon prince.
No, there's one where they're like in a ship and they're like, oh, you cunts all dying, and then he like gives over.
Yeah, they get killed by a virus bomb at the start, a couple of dudes, and then when they're going through the warp, the Gallifeld breaks and those dudes get reanimated.
Yeah. Okay,
but
what book's that?
That's in Flight of the Eisenstein, but that's not
okay.
The Death Guard Legion. That's just an isolated incident where it's like...
That's all you get?
Yeah, well, apparently that's all you're getting because we're going straight to the Siege of Terra.
Yeah, it would have been great to have each Legion have a couple of specific books.
It's like a porno. The pizza man has rocked up.
More in depth.
It's a bad porno cat. The pizza man has rocked up at the door. You've let the pizza man in. He's like, I've fucking got a pizza for you. And the chick's like, oh, I've got no way to pay. And then he like raises an eyebrow, and then it goes straight to the cum shot. That's what they've done with the novel series. Instead of like...
You're watching some outdated porn, man.
No, it's an analogy.
It's a really outdated analogy. Yeah, I don't know, man. Ultramarines have built their fluff somehow even more. And anything in depth. All their novels have made more depth to the Ultramarine army and fluff and stuff like that. But like Dark Angels, for example, they haven't alluded to like why they have checkers and shit on their thing. Only
a Night Heraldry
about the Caliban guys and the Terror guys, right? There's a little bits and pieces.
I like Gav Thorpe because he's old school Games Workshop, but at the same time, he waffles so much shit in his novels. Like, those Dark Angels novels, fuck man, they are depressing novels. And then, like, one thing I can't stand is when different authors handle the same Primarchs, they get constantly split personalities. Like, when the Lion gets handled by, fuck, who was it did Unremembered Empire? Dan Abnett. When he handles the Lion, he's one way. When he's handled by Gab Thorpe, he's another way. You know, when Aramdensky Bowden handles Gilliman, he's one way. When Dan Abnett handles him, he's another. And all the Primarchs seem to have, like, this split fucking personality.
Yeah, definitely. They do not...
Like, Perturabo, whenever John fucking French handles Perturabo, he's just this, like, mustache-twirling level of evil. Where he's like...
They should have... there was no point that it really showed in these books that they sat down in a meeting and specifically printed out a thing and all said, this is the Primarch's personality, this is the left and right. I mean, we all have good days and bad days, but there's not one day where I'm going and studying my PhD and then the next I'm fucking skinning some child alive. Like, like there's like, it's just like they did not have a couple of meetings here. All they would have had to do is be like, okay, this is, or even one person to be like, to Games Workshop, some dude, or sorry, Forge World editors team, to just be like, hey, this is the dude's personalities. Please stay inside these guys' tracks, right?
It was like,
look
at
there's all the fucking doctors,
Perturabo.
right? They're like,
look at Perturabo in in the Crimson Fist, that John French fucking story about the Battle of Fel. Like, one of his dudes comes up to him and he's like, oh yeah, we're losing the battle because, like, they're fucking got better ships than us. And Perturabo just, like, loses his fucking shit. And this is, like, one of his, like, 3 tribunes, like his main praetor, one of his trident, just fucking smashes the cunt to death. Just, like, backhands him with the hammer and just fucking kills him. The dude ends up having to be put into a fucking dreadnought to stay alive because he just brought Perturabo bad news. But then, like, in the next novel with Perturabo, which takes place after that, when you would assume he'd be even more chaosy, he's like, oh, you know, it really sucks. Like, the only reason I follow Horus is because, like, I'm so self-loathing over what happened with, like, you know, wiping out Olympia, and, you know, I wish I could make amends, but I just can't, so I'm just stuck on this path now, and, you know, I need advice from you, my fucking fellow Legionnaires, to help me out. It's like a completely fucking different character.
yeah, maybe he got counselling in one of the short stories.
No, it's because John French can't write a good fucking nemesis. John French, woe be it for me, who's just a piece of shit, who's never had a work published in his life, but he can't write a compelling fucking villain. Instead, he falls into, like, the really simple tricks of, like, story writing, where he's just like, oh, I will make the good guy seem as good in any way possible. This is Alexis Pollux. He was handpicked for leadership in the Imperial Fists. He is my Mary Sue. He is amazing at everything he does. One might even say he can outsmart even a Primarch. His intelligence is that high. And then he goes to the bad guy side of things. He's like, this guy is bad. Look at that. He just killed one of his own henchmen. How bad is this bad guy? It's like the most simplistic fucking writing. And then he got, like, Aramdensky Bowden, who he can write a fucking very compelling hero and villain, and handles, like, different characters well. Like, he handles Angron really well. But then, like, when he's handling, like, fucking the Word Bearers and Argel Tal and that, nobody gives a shit. Nobody's there like, oh, geez, I want to hear more fucking about Erebus and how he fucking uses portals to traverse the warp that he carves with his dagger in the air and can slice through reality. That's pretty sweet. That's way more interesting than hearing about the fucking battle of, like, Kalth or something. Or how Angron turns into a demon prince, and I don't know, there's some really weird shit going on with the authors, man. It's like, they sit down and have these big author meetings, but
I don't think they had a fucking meeting at all. That's the problem. I think they obviously...
No, they sit there and have cake. They put a picture up online. I saw it of them all sitting there and chatting, and maybe they're just laughing about how much money they're going to get from the series. I don't fucking know, but...
How many books do you think this the final Siege of Terror is going to be? I reckon it's going to be about... I'm going to say 6.
No, I'm going to say trilogy. And you know what's really sad? I don't even think they're going to give Mars another look in. Because, like, the whole time the heresy's been going on, like, Mars has been in civil war, and the
Yeah, there
and
was a
the and
Mars
the
book.
Imperial Fists have been involved in that civil war because they've been like fucking Dunkirking shit out of there. Like, you know, like new sets of power armor and all that shit. They're like, well,
Oh,
let's make off with as much loot as we can before the circle closes.
They're just PUBGing it. They're PUBGing
They're
the
just
shit out
full
of that.
PUBG in it, right? The Imperial
If,
Fists.
if you're sorry, PUBG's player unknown battlegrounds. That's a game that we've been playing.
We're playing with
So-
Tim as well. Tim's the fucking worst for
Oh my
for
God.
looting shit, but yeah, the fucking Imperial Fists have been like looting Mars, you know, and trying to get like as much lureless shit out of there as they can before like, because they're like, oh well, the world's turned to shit. We can't fucking fight the whole Mechanicum and save our strength for the siege. So let's just get what resources we can before it's too late. So that's been their approach to that whole Martian war, and just they're not touching on it. They just allude to it in other novels. And then, like, they made that stupid fucking novel, The Master of Mankind, which is all about the war in the Webway. It's called The Master of Mankind. The Emperor does nothing. He just sits in the fucking chair the whole time. And they're like, oh, you know, there's traitors in the Webway, and, oh, they're the World Eaters. They look like World Eaters, but they're wearing red armor. It's like, well, that hasn't happened in any of the other fucking books. So what, is that just going to change on the way to Terra?
Apparently so.
Like, it hasn't been established yet, and this is what I'm saying. Like, they're just skipping whole chunks.
Yeah, but they could go on, man. Like, if they really wanted to suck the shit out of this. So there's 45 books at the moment in this entire 45.
Yes, but here's the thing. Look up how many of them are actually compendiums. That are actually just short stories or short stories amalgamated into novels.
I do love the short story ones. I don't like the ripped apart one, like
There's
Scars.
some good ones like
I like the short story.
Death of a
ones.
Goldsmith or The Last Church. Last Church is fucking good.
The short stories have the stuff you want for your army in there. It's where most of the Dark Angels fluff and stuff are from now, because they don't
Let's
have...
say Last Church,
next-
Death of a Silversmith, The Lightning Tower. There's some good fucking short stories out there. But then there's also ones that like the Kelth short story. I own that one. And it's all about like the war on Kelth. It's got some okay short stories in there, but it's like, did it really need its own novel? Did I need another novel about the fucking Ultramarines and the Word Bearers fighting each other underground?
It's
Really, like I say, really could have used a
like
Death Guard novel in there.
that's pretty key. But you're right. I think they should have had some Death Guard in there. But what was the Death Guard doing this entire time?
Well, they were one of like the more reliable legions, but every time they pop up in like Scars or Path of Heaven, they always pop up in some other cunt's book.
Always just
And Horace is always just like, oh, Mortarion, you've been one of my most faithful Primarchs, and one that I can truly depend on, who hasn't just fallen to Chaos worship or worship, and you always get shit done. You've, you know, cut up thousands of worlds for me on the way to Terra. Could we? It's like Seymour Skinner and Superintendent Chalmers. It's like, what's that, Mortarion? It's me cutting a swath across the galaxy. May I see it? No. Because, like, yeah, we're not actually shown it. We just keep getting told it. Like, we're told all these cool things have happened behind the scenes. And
That's,
yeah, so the long short of that is, for the writers don't know what they're doing at Black Library because they're trying to rush shit out the door now. Probably because they want to make them all. They want to get them all onto writing Primaris fucking stories.
yeah.
That's probably what it is. So that's why they're tying up the
They've obviously
heresy. They're seeing
given
where the
some
money
really
goes.
some bad time frames, and obviously whatever work they're producing, it's like, no, it needs to be more stupid. Like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, it needs to be like that fucking that dude that did the White House, the Pharos. They tie in the Tyranids. Yeah, so back to the playtesting. They're not playtesting things right at Forgeville. They don't know their own fucking rules properly. They haven't balanced the custos, and people can say that they've playtested them. They either haven't, or they have done it under extremely forgiving circumstances, like taken a mixed custode sisters list, and they haven't taken the pimped out Tribune, and they're not representing the rules they've written fairly. That's how they've playtested it, is a guess.
Yeah, I think, like you said, man, and I'm just iterating again, to make Custodes a balanced army, you need to take half points of what your opponent is doing. It's an uphill fight, but that's exactly how it should be done. In my sense, that's the easiest way to balance them out at this point. But
Well,
they're not.
like I said, when I played that Dark Angels player, his jet bikes, like I was copying something like 55 heavy bolter shots a turn. Now that doesn't sound bad to people, but these are poison heavy bolter shots at the Dark Angels. So you roll a d6, and that's the AP, and you roll it for each heavy bolter. So 1/3 of all the bolt gun shots he fires, which let's say about 20 shots, are AP 1 or 2. So the Custodes only get an invul save, which is a massive difference between most armies that fight them. That's why it's such a perfect best case scenario for the Dark Angels, because they are probably the strongest legion at fighting Custodes in many ways. Maybe the Death Guard are up there with a lot of their chemical weapons. The other thing is the poison ammo wounds on a 2+ as well. So it's hitting on 3s, wounding on 2s, and the Custodes only get invuls, and he's getting like at least 20 shots of that
Dark
each
Angels,
turn.
you're saying? Or Death Guard?
The Dark Angel's shooting at my
Okay, but that's only
Custodes. And
there's only about half a chance of giving a pen. You still got to roll for your armor penetration.
no, we're talking about shooting Custodes infantry.
Yes.
Yes, shooting
the poison rounds,
Yes,
right?
it will.
Yeah, you
it
still have to
fucks
roll
up
for
Custodes infantry.
The wounds, yeah, you're always wounding on the 2s, but for your armor pen, you've got to. They still might get an
Yeah,
armor.
it's
save.
a 1 in 3 chance that you'll ignore their armor, which is
Yeah.
pretty good odds compared to other legions. Because again, other legions
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
getting full armor saves against, and that's a big game changer. And as I say, that's the best case scenario. This is a Dark Angels list that had massive mobility advantage, massive numbers advantage, had much better ranged war gear, was able to just shit on me for 3 turns without getting any shots coming back at him. Because the Dreadnoughts are running, the infantry are running, I'm not shooting at him. So he gets to unmolested fire all his shit at me for 3 full game turns. And I still beat him.
Yeah,
That's
and
not me
people
being
are going
good.
to say it's just one game, and there are games online that I have seen where I think it was another Dark Angels player, a mini war game, and did one. Granted, both those dudes really didn't know what was going on, but you know, you can see just on paper that this is just it's out of control. They're almost the same points as fucking Legion stuff, but they've got twice as many rules. And shit.
Well, look at
It's
the.
ridiculous.
I did the Is It Shit episode on the Custodes transport. It's like the cost of a Predator with the survivability of a Land Raider and the firepower of a Sicarian. And it's also a grav tank. And it's also a transport. It's like, how on any planet is that balanced? And then people go, oh, well, it's a small elite army. A small elite army realistically doesn't win games. Was anyone fucking there for Drago Wing in 5th Ed?
Yeah,
Sorry, I bumped the mic, but small armies definitely can win games. Generally, they're not very good at holding objectives, but when you're
You don't need to hold an
Custodes
objective
and
once
you
you fucking
and your
wipe the
minimum
goddamn
squads
army
are only
you've built.
3 models, you have plenty of squads to put out there to hold objectives. A squad of 3 Custodes can take a charge from 20 World Eaters with rage and close combat weapons and survive.
It just seems like
and
another
win.
money grab. Everyone wanted to play Custodes. They gave the public what they wanted, and they made the money off of it. But it's not made a lot of. It's just not been fun for me. It's not that. And that's what people like. It's not.
It's not fun.
I can't just say
Nobody
it's-
looks forward to playing Custodes.
No, but that's what a lot of people, even when Custodes came out, they just sold all their crap and just like, well, this is what I've always wanted. I wanted a Custode army, and that's cool. That's fine. It's just not. I just don't want to I don't like rocking up to events where half the fucking cunts are playing fucking Custodes.
How would you feel if you're an Emperor's Children player and like your bonus for like your one thing that your Legion has is like a slightly better initiative advantage when you charge over other Marines, and then you fucking are an Emperor's Children player and you walk into a Custodes squad. They're just gonna shit on you. They're gonna rip off your head and shit down your neck.
Yeah, it's really sad they don't have Lucius out. I really would have loved to see a Lucius model, and now they're saying they're not going to release any more characters in the character series other than Primarchs, because they just got too much of a schedule. They don't have enough manpower to produce.
Well, if they stopped
any
fucking
more
producing super
characters.
heavies and Custodes stuff, maybe they'd find time.
They know that they're going to make money from it. That's the problem with this whole
Well,
thing.
that's
is
right. They're never gonna make money off Soul Tarvets.
They're not going to make money off Lucius either. Like, people are just not going to. It's just not going to happen. Like, I'd love a Lucius model.
I
Like, that's what
don't want to
all
see
this
them
stuff.
releasing more Aramans. Like, don't let Games Workshop do the plastic versions of these characters because they're just gonna fuck it up. They fucked up Araman.
But they're not. Didn't they come out? They said that they did their priority. Their least priority now is the character series for captains and stuff. They will still do Primarchs, but they're not doing any more characters. So we're not going to see.
Maybe they could stop making.
Not going to see
maybe they should stop making different Sicarians. Why do we need
Remember,
fucking
I
8
emailed the
Sicarians?
cunts. I emailed them and asked them where's Saltavis? Where he at, boy? And they got. He died to the circle years ago. He's out in there. He's dead. He's not doing shit.
He got knocked in the circle. No one went and reversed him.
Crawling around. He's like, yeah. And that's sad because they could have done. That guy's a cool character, but only like 5% of the community would have bought it, right? Whereas this is a whole army. People can just start collecting.
If you do a character series model right, people buy it to convert into other shit. If it's done
Absolutely,
right.
Yeah, sure, but not everyone. Whereas more than most of the community seem to be fucking buying this custode shit. It's obviously making them money because they keep pushing the shit out.
On the bright side, it's meant there's a few less people on the Thousand Suns bandwagon, which is nice.
But they're all on the fucking custode wagon.
Yeah, which is bad. And they're not on the Sisters bandwagon. That's the sad part. It's a two-pronged army, a two-headed army, Sisters and Custodes, and people only seem to want to play that one half of it. And it's like, well done, people. You wonder why Games Workshop won't make Sisters of Battle in plastic. This is why, because the models are there. You could use the Sisters with bolt guns as Sisters of Battle. Give them a head swap them out with like some aftermarket heads, or maybe even the like Skitarii heads, for example, look like sort of like knight helms. They would look great as Sisters of Battle. But people aren't fucking doing it. People are too busy sucking the Custode's dick. And you wonder why Games Workshop aren't putting any resources into Plastic Sisters. That's why.
Oh, bro, I saw a lot of it in our little chat on Facebook, the group chat, but all the people bitching that Custodes aren't in 40k. On Forge World site, about 30k. They're like, oh, there needs to be rules. So many people. Like, it was like fucking 4 out of 5 comments. One after the other was just like, where they need rules that Custodes can be in 40k. It's like, you fucking shitting me? Fuck me.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Well,
you know what? This has, without a doubt,
one of the main things that just isn't motivating me not to make it. I mean, granted, most of me, it's mostly hobby for me. It's like 90% hobby, and I'll play a game a couple of times a year. And if I travel to events, and I'm kind of like a mobile at this point, but it's just not motivating for me. It's just like Custodes. Oh, look, Mecca, Custodes are coming. Yes, but yeah, I don't know. It's just not. What are they going to do? What's Forge World's plan after this fucking? It's October. When are we seeing 4K? The end of this year, and the start.
I think Easter next year. Rumor I heard was another Horus Heresy box game for Easter next year as well. Easter
That's right.
mid-year.
Yeah, there was that. Where I heard
but
that there was
the thing was, like, that was all plans that were put in place prior to 8th edition being a success. Yeah. And because of that, like, Games Workshop is very narrow-viewed. They will go where the money is now. They don't have a long-term approach, no matter what people think. They are very much an in-the-moment company. They focus on, like, if they get a little bit of success, they're like Hollywood. Oh, this fucking movie had a heap of success because it had, like, I don't know, a female lead or something, so they all fucking try and repeat that same formula. Well, that's Games Workshop. They, right now, they're going, oh, Primaris Marines are selling well. Death Guard stuff, I'm assuming, is selling well. So they're going to try and capitalize on that. So, more Primaris Marines, more Primaris Orcs, more Primaris Eldar.
40k new army, apparently, rumors. It's probably just going to be Custodes with a new name. Oh, look, it's the Custodes. The Custodors. Custodors? I don't know. It'll be something. But...
The Companions of Gilliman. Because the Companions was the nickname of, like, Alexander the Great's household cavalry, like his personal cataphracti were called the Companions. So that's perfectly fucking Gilliman because he's Greco-Roman.
Yeah, I want to see the Space Wolf. Like, I've even said it when they released their shit this year at one of the Forge World stores. I want to see the Sisters with the cyber dogs. I want to see Space Wolf Death Boys with the skulls and the combat drugs or whatever.
Oh, they are
Those
coming.
dudes.
They are coming.
When? Have you got any?
Next
have
open
you got
day.
Any picture? Got any pics?
I
Oh no.
don't think
When's
I
next
have
open day?
pics. I don't think I have pics. You know, one thing, the sources, normally the sources are pretty good at giving me like information about models coming out. I did not have a clue about that fucking table that was coming out. I want to hear more from my sources about that sort of thing. About like new terrain and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's like that terrain was great.
Yeah. You could cast that terrain up pretty easily as well, actually.
Yes, so it's going to get pulled from the range very quickly, you see?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd like to see it on China. Maybe China.
Oh yeah, that's China. China is going to pump that shit out.
Yeah, it'd be good.
Be able to get a cheap table out of it.
Yeah, for sure. And it's kind of like a beaten down. You could do a beaten down for a good enough price. Hopefully, a beaten down zone table or something. Great.
Yeah, yeah.
You need a fair amount of the shit though. Yeah, well, I don't know, man. It's just so much red and gold on their goddamn fucking website. Why the fuck is there more shit in the Custos line than there is the fucking Emperor's Children line?
Yeah, Emperor's Children have really copped a hard dick. But they're probably into that. Then you got White Scars. What the fuck's happening with White Scars? They're book 9. As far as everyone knows, they're book 9.
We never did we ever do the Orion tank? Did we ever talk about the Orion tank?
Orion tank.
Sakaric and Omega tank.
Oh
rather, not
yes,
Orion.
yeah, we did the other week.
We have done this one.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, jeez. Oh, jeez, for
Oh, I think I might have done it with Tim, but yeah,
okay.
it's a piece of shit basically.
And it's very sad. I like the Messiah one. He's a good boy.
The plasma one, like, I'll put a picture up now for people to see. Now, in the video, if I remember to put it up, of one of them, I think it's Matt Kane's, where he put like the Derridaris plasmas on it, and it just looks way the fuck better than what Forge World actually ended up coming out with, because ever since the late great Alan Bly left us, it's like there's just been an instant change in the quality.
Yeah, definitely. And a lot of the authors actually went to Alan Bly when they had fuck all idea of what the fuck they were writing about, and he set them on a good path. They don't have that for the conclusion. And if anyone's ever done an essay, if you got a shit conclusion, you're not getting a good grade, man. And I feel I'm not looking forward to reading those books. Like, I hope it's just so bad. I don't know, man. It's real depressing.
Oh jeez, Kat, not looking forward to it. Oh jeez.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Like,
well, this is probably our most negative fucking episode of the Scrubdown ever. We just shit on Custodes, shit on Guard, we shit on the Forge World playtesting.
Okay, if we can, I can start. There's heaps of positive shit. There's a Forge World game sorry, Forge World. There's a Fallout tabletop game coming out, which looks fucking fantastic, and that I've got more motivation about that than I do 30k or any more Warhammer related product. I definitely, just even for the painting purposes, I love that gritty apocalyptic kind of look, so I'm looking forward to painting these models. And it's not going to be a huge army, it's going to be 1 or 2 models that I'm going to get. It's really all it takes. We've got the Song of Fire and Ice or Game of Thrones tabletop war game shit that's coming in the mail, and that's something to look forward to.
That's getting closer now. We're only about 6 months now to go.
So hopefully I can get the Fallout shit painted before then. So I've got a lot of friends not in tabletop war game, but they're into gaming and they love Fallout, and this is a good gateway to get them back into tabletop war gaming.
Gateway drug.
It's going to be really cool. So I've got people to play with for the Fallout thing, and there's so many different ways to play that game. It's going to be really cool. That's positive. Anvil Industries have come out with a crap load of freaking contractor miniatures. That's close to my heart. It's freaking.
Mm-hmm.
It's so good that those miniatures are freaking awesome. They've got AKs, M4s, so many different types of style settings. You can make them look like ragtag of guerrilla fighters, or you can make them like professional contractors. Like Anvil Industries have kicking so many goals. Recently, I believe Puppet Wars have come out with some more new shit as well. some heads, skulled heads. So the skulled heads from Primus Marine Range, utter crap. Puppets Wars have come out with a good set of skulled helmets, which I would use for 30k.
You can also give them those pumpkin heads.
They look so good. Oh, Pumpkin Man, sure. Halloween's coming up, so why not? So there's some really good positive shit coming out in the tabletop hobby.
There
also,
definitely is.
There's Warhammer 40 for Steam wise. I think yesterday the Warhammer Total War number 2 came out. So Lizard Men, Dark Elves, Elves, all those dudes are Skaven as well. Apparently only 5% of people play Skaven within the first 24 hours or something. But
because everything else is much cooler.
No, I like Skaven. I like the little assassins and stuff. They're so cute.
But Lizard Men shit all over Skaven.
Yeah, no, I don't like that.
And Dark Elves are just fun because they're just out there, wacky.
The dragons and stuff, they've improved the dragons in that game and stuff, but I don't have it. It's just $80 that I could. It's the same game. You still get all your DLC converted over to number 2. So for playing online, you get all those units and stuff that you go for. But still, it's just, and it's huge. It's a huge game. I
do need to get number 2.
Totally. There's Warhammer 40,000 Inquisitor Martyr that's come out. I had a friend come over before you came over here because I had a friend who had it. He had a look at it and stuff, and it has some really good potential. It has you like it doesn't, the fluff on it is kind of weird. You like this Inquisitor. You're an Inquisitor henchman, so you can be like a Death Cult assassin, sniper, or a Death Cult assassin with some blades. You can be a Crusader, but you're just this one dude, so you don't have a retinue, which is kind of weird. It's still in beta, so I don't know how they're going to go on with it, but the interface and stuff is a really cool kind of Diablo top-down kind of view thing. It's good for just to chill out, whatever, after school or work. And you can customize your character. If you ever want to just go around and shoot chaos cultists in the face with a shotgun, this is the game to do it. It's got a really cool shotgun mechanic. It's got and the other guns and stuff, the las guns in it are kind of weird. They're just like a consistent beam of heat energy, which is. But that's the thing. Games Workshop just pumping out their IP to anyone who wants it. So some good stuff comes out of it. For the most part, this is really, really good. It's currently $49.99 US, so it's still in beta. It's early access, so it's kind of on the more expensive side. You could have gotten it cheaper, I think, beforehand, but yeah, definitely maybe think about picking that up. Definitely have a look at it if you're in a sort of Diablo kind of games. It's one of the more. It's gritty, and the way Nurgle are portrayed in that game. Probably because Games Workshop don't have their finger in the pudding as such. They sold the IP, they got it, they got their money out of it. They might get royalties or whatever. But the way that Nurgle is portrayed in that game with the cultists, it shits all over their miniatures from the actual company. It's fucking blowing my mind, man. Like, what's going on with this fucking industry? It's insane. But positively, it's terrific. That's great. Is there anything else coming out soon? Fuck, I don't even know. I think
that's it. Of note, we might do an episode next week if we got the chance about all this other good shit. So we're gonna have like a really super happy, positive episode, super happy fun slide next week instead of.
May not contain any actual Games Workshop products.
yeah, that's basically the sum of it. But yeah, I think we might leave it there.
Oh, but we did have a positive thing. It was a hell of a positive thing.
There was,
Harvest Fighter. The Harvest Fighter is...
Yeah, and the terrain itself in that new fucking box
is okay. It's just the price is a bit on the nose. I'd probably prefer the Imperial Harvest Fighter as my terrain.
Yes.
Than the box set for $140.
Yeah, pirate that shit.
Yeah.
Alright. Thanks everyone for watching the episode. Any last words for our viewers, Kat?
Yeah, check Facebook. Check out the Facebook page. Check out Instagram if you're on Instagram. Got some pictures there. I'm trying to put out a picture every day. It's kind of hard. We're gonna be I'm trying to make a Discord channel for anyone who wants to just talk shit about tabletop wargaming, or if you're looking for a game to play with somebody, whether it be Warhammer Online or I keep saying Warhammer Online, Warhammer, fucking Total War or whatever, PUBG, all that stuff. Trying to make a Discord channel for that, and I'm still trying to make a Facebook page where everyone can just talk hobby for that outer circle. But we've got so many pages already; it's kind of hard to just trying to make it and let it go. But then you just get a crap load of notifications from random people just being hurt, their feelings. You just let everyone come in.
Oh, everyone's hurt.
It's so hard. But yeah. Don't forget about your thing.
Yes.
Definitely watch it. Watch the Nurgle. What review was it? It was the freaking.
It was actually the Chaos unreleased miniatures, the unreleased episode that I put up where we took it all the Chaos characters.
Got a chance to meme something.
Yeah, ended that episode. Talk about a little prize giveaway. They'll be happening sort of like midnight tonight-ish if I'm still awake, or first thing tomorrow morning. I'll message a winner and let them know what their prize is. Divers.
Well, sorry if you didn't get a chance to do that, but there'll be more. So if you watch more, there'll be more crap, because Mac has given back to the community that's been so good to us with all your hate mail.
Unlike fucking certain other Warhammer related YouTube / such and such personalities, I want you to pay them to view their fucking content.
Oh yeah, that guy.
Yeah, that's pretty fucking jack. Anyway, thanks everyone for watching, and we'll see you all next time. Related YouTube / such and such personalities, I want you to pay them to view their fucking content.
Oh yeah, that guy.
Yeah, that's pretty fucking jack.